Every time our country stands in the path of danger, an instinct seems to summon her finest first.
For he is truly his brother's keeper.
Let us fight for a new world.
There's two kinds of people in this world when you boil it all down. You got your talkers and you got your doers. Most people are just talkers. So which one are you? Do you just talk about it? Or do you stand up and do something?
It's always the patriots who first hear the call. For everyone within the sound of my voice, from my cold, dead hand.
You're listening to the Outlaw Radio Network. OutlawRadioNetwork.com.
All right, it's the Outlaw Radio Network for the 9th of March, 2013. Thanks for checking out the show. K-Dog the Loose Cannon, Strip Run on the boards. St. Paul will join us from the compound shortly, as we'll just say he's flooded in. We'll blame it on Mother Nature, which is not the truth. It's a blatant lie. But it's a good excuse for why he's not in studio. As you can tell, it is not St. Paul to my right. And we'll introduce our guest here in just a moment. We're doing this kind of round-robin table of just people in his chair while he's gone. Next week, I'm not committing, but I'm hoping we'll have Barack Obama in his chair. But we'll see how that plays out. I sent an email to the White House, but they haven't gotten back to me, surprisingly. Keep in mind, Outlaw Radio Network till 10 to 11. We're gonna resuscitate the discussion from last week's show about religion and faith and all of that, because there was a big backlash that I got on my Facebook page. We'll share some of that, and we'll get to that in the last call tonight. St. Paul joined us from the compound. Hola, St. Paul. What's with the glasses, dude?
You know, they're reading glasses, and I need them to be able to see your pretty face on the screen.
You look like one of the Dudleys from the WWE. We'll talk about that in the next half hour.
Take that.
We'll talk about that in the next half hour. Hey, let me introduce to you our guest. Joining me to my right, seated in your very chair, St. Paul, and frankly, he looks better as a co-host next to me than you do.
I understand that.
Is CD Poe is what we're going to go by. Chris.
CD Poe's? That sounds like somebody you want to trust.
Poe, P-O-E, Poe, as in Edgar Allan, as in a direct descendant thereof.
Well, who's a seedy individual? Who's somebody that's seedy?
No, C, the letter D, and then Poe, as in Edgar Allan.
Well, I'm just going off of what you said. You said seedy, and I'm sure that somebody wouldn't want to come home with your daughter, right?
Take notes. Take notes. CD Poe joins us in studio. Chris, thanks for making the trek into the Bat Cave to the studio, man.
Yeah.
Get right up on that studio. Get right up on that microphone, though.
I had to write an orca in.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
that's right. We are kind of in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, it was kind of exciting coming all the way from the lonely, barrens of Paulsbo. So,
that's right.
Yeah.
Well, at least you got Schlee's Bakery up there to.
Oh yeah, which is why I keep my svelte figure the way I do. Yeah, it fuels many a sugar hide image, down on the page as an artist.
Best cinnamon rolls in the world up at Schlee's.
Oh yeah, the Viking cups.
Isn't it Slies?
I don't know. I've heard Sluies, Slies, Schlees. I'm sure that somebody could throw some European accent on it and call it something else. And
it's okay. It's Slies. It's Slies.
Is it Slies?
Yeah, I just want to make sure Kevin's pronouncing it right.
Hey, listen, when they're a paying advertiser, I'll care how I pronounce their name. All right,
that's true.
When they pay me to cut them a 30-second spot, I'll care how I pronounce them. Until then, they're the bakery on what is that street? Is that
Viking
Front
Way.
Street? Is that Viking
Front
Way?
Street.
Front Street.
Yeah, that's Front Street.
Yeah. So they're the bakery on Front Street that makes
right.
really good cinnamon rolls.
Right.
Nothing says spend money on us like mispronouncing names.
Amen.
Kind of like CD.
CD, yeah.
Right.
You're a CD individual.
Yeah.
I'm not going to let you ever.
I didn't pay you, but I gave you some art. So
he did. Paul, I can't wait for you to come in studio so I can show you the artwork that Chris did for me. And it won't show up very well on camera, so I'm not even going to try. But let's just say the Minion is now the 12th Minion, and they agree that we should abolish soccer. And if you're a follower on my Facebook page, you'll get the joke.
I will tell you this because I know you're one of the multitude of Barack Obama worshipers. I found you a special Barack Obama gift this weekend.
Did you? Good.
I did. It's a limited edition Barack the Barbarian comic book.
Nice.
Yes, I thought you
Score.
would completely appreciate that.
Wow.
And I picked it up just for you. And let me tell you, you want to know about the state of our economy? Look at comic books. The retail price of this comic book, Kevin Chambers, $3. Guess how much I had to pay for that puppy?
How much you pay for it?
$1.
$1. Well, that's Obamacare kicking in right there, buddy. That's Obamacare right there. All right, we are going to talk more politics later. In fact, a very good Facebook friend of mine said that Barack Obama actually works for Valerie Jarrett, and I'm going to ask you about that later, Paul, because I'm sure that you can explain to me how that even makes any sense. Because I
can completely explain that to you. Yes, sir.
Yeah, we'll do that later in the show. First, though, we're going to talk. We're going to talk with Chris CD Poe. If you've followed him on Facebook at all, we will give out his Facebook. Is that okay to give out your Facebook page later?
By all means. I'm going to pimp myself any which way I can.
You know what? Yeah, CD, you feel free. You go right ahead and you do that. That's what this
thank
show's
you,
all
sir.
about.
That's what this is all for. Yeah.
Right on.
And we're gonna share some of his artwork in a little bit, Paul. So if you've got the show feed up, bring it up. If not, get the show feed going so you can see some of his artwork. I've been able to
the show feed going, and because I'm not in studio and haven't had a chance to meet your guest here, maybe it would be good to drop my video, and then I'll just be on via audio so that I can watch and see, and the video doesn't interfere with your entire screenshot. Huh?
That's a good idea. Let's drop Paul's video right now.
Bye,
there
Paul.
are fans of the show in Olalla going, you mean we don't have to look at Paul in those Dudley Boys glasses, in the Dudley Brothers glasses? Thank God. Someone get a table. All right. So
You're seriously losing cool points, Kevin.
I'm
They're like, you're down by 2 already. The show's just started, and you've already lost 2 cool points.
well by the end
you
of
only
the
had 12 to start with.
by the end of the show,
He'll
I'll be
be-
negative numbers. Yeah.
All right, brother.
All right, so we'll get rid of Paul's video feed, which is perfect. So now that is that up where listeners can see it yesterday? Okay, so that's just queued up, ready to go.
Yeah.
So talk a little before we start showing off some of your wares, some of your ink. Talk a little bit because
Okay.
when I as I was talking to people what you do, I've said artist, and I don't think artist is really fair because you hear artist and it doesn't really put a. I mean, artist is such a wide term.
Like artiste.
Yeah,
Would that be
but-
better?
Yeah, maybe. Yeah. Artist is a wide term, so kind of put what you do into perspective for the listeners.
Okay. Well, I primarily I do fantasy artwork with kind of a contemporary pinup spin. I've always been a big fan of pinup artwork. Earl Moran, Gil Elfgren did a lot of the pinups back in the day in the 40s and 50s that very iconic imagery invoked there. You know, the World War II pinups, you know, B-52 bombers with the girls, you know, sentimental journey, all that. And I've always been a big fan of the pinup style art. Big fan of tattoo art. And ironically, I have none of those yet myself, but mainly it's just because I'm just so damn picky. You know, I want to have the right design if I'm going to have something like that, but neither here nor there. I've drawn ever since I can remember. My mom still has my first picture. Hi, Mom.
Is your mom checking out the show?
You know, she might be, but if not, you guys, I know, like, record and post it, right?
Yeah, this will be on the show.
you know,
This will be on the website
so,
later this week.
again, hey, Mom.
Hello, Mama Poe.
Yeah.
Mama Poe.
So, but yeah,
Isn't that sweet?
in that, yeah. See, you know, I, you know, if I didn't give props to my mom, I'd probably pay for it later. So, you know,
There you go. There you go.
but yeah, I more recently, probably I would say within the last couple of years, probably more 2 years really, I've started really seriously focusing on, you know, putting together some of my. You know, like I said, most of it's one-shot pinup type stuff. I'm working with a buddy of mine right now, maybe to put some pen to paper and do some scripting and possibly work on a webcomic graphic novel type thing.
Nice.
So, you know, some steampunk, urban fantasy overtones there possibly. So, but, you know, like I said, I really like the... So I say kind of comic style tattoo, contemporary pinup, I'm very much into digital media and whatnot. I have my own personal website. It's pretty bare bones right now, but I do a lot with posting stuff on Facebook, Tumblr. That automatically feeds into my Twitter. It's just a lot easier, kind of to push stuff up to the social media, get that out there, than it is really to spend a lot of time maintaining a website. But I do have stuff on a website. I have an online storefront that has some of my prints and whatnot. So, but yeah, I mean, ultimately, my goal would be able to, maybe do something like this as my day job. Mm-hmm. Something a little bit more commercial. But right now, I have loads of fun with it, and even if it never really went anywhere, I have a good time with it. I know there's people out there who enjoy seeing what I do, so I'm looking forward to this opportunity to kind of talk to people. This is my first ever radio type thing, so this is cool.
We're breaking you in.
Yeah, so you're popping my radio cherry.
That's right. We're breaking you in. I thought about making that joke too, but your mom's watching, so I was.
Hi, Mom.
Hello, Mom.
Well, So, anyways, so that's kind of me in a nutshell.
What do you? How does the process work as an artist? How does the process work? So, is it? Do you see other art and you think that does that inspire you into another way that you think, okay, I like that idea, but I'm going to take it in a different direction? Is it just something that hits you in a moment that isn't inspired by their art? How does it hit you when you decide you're going to draw something up? Where does it come from?
Yeah, I have there's several people that have inspired my works over the years. I'm a big literary buff. Clive Barker is I'm very much into horror movies and kind of the darker side of literature. So as my nom de plume for art, Poe, indicates, I was very much into Edgar Allan Poe, Lovecraft, H.P. Lovecraft, the whole Cthulhu thing. Clive Barker, Stephen King, some of from the visual arts, Brahm, who I've actually had a chance to meet several times. He actually lives in the Pacific Northwest, and he was one of my idols in high school, and so I'm really taken by his stuff. But a lot of times I'll be reading a book or watching a film, generally a horror film or something twisted and bizarre, or there's something that maybe there'll be an image. Sometimes it's just really as subtle as a pose or a particular line, and I get an image stuck in my head, and generally if I ignore it, that's a bad thing because it just kind of keeps spinning in my brain.
It bugs you until you decide with it.
Yeah, and then other times I'll sit there with my sketchbook, and I've told this to people before, and they just give me weird looks. I don't know how else to describe it, but there are times where I look at the page and I just see the picture, and I feel like I'm just tracing the lines.
Really?
It's just I can't describe it. It's just that the image in my head, I guess, is just so, it just resonates so much that I look at the paper and I can just see the shapes forming, and so I just kind of follow that image and trace it with pencil, go over it with ink, color it, whatever. And sometimes it's that simple. Other times I've got something there that I really want down on the page, and it just won't happen.
Let's bring up the first one. I want to use this as kind of a reference for some of the next couple of questions. Bring up the one that you've got up in here for the listeners to take a look at. On something like this, now this one is really intricate in the center area. Is it up for the listeners yet? Strip? Not yet? Okay, so when the listeners get it up, it's very intricate in the center area. How long, from start to finish, from when you sit down and start actually I would assume that there's probably some kind of rough sketch that goes in before you actually do like a hard print of it. Yeah. How long does it take start to finish before you're done with this and ready to?
Generally, again, it kind of depends on how strong that image is. I can get pencils down usually on paper to rough out the idea and get what I want to go for in about 15 to 30 minutes. For rough pencils. And then, this particular piece I spent a lot of time on, and went over the pencils in quite a bit of detail and before I inked it. So, this one took a couple of hours just for the pencils and kind of shaping everything out. And I liked it so much as black and white. I do have a colored version of this, which I inked up and colored and then touched up in Photoshop. But this one I did, like I said, I just really I'm a really big fan of stark black and white artwork. To some people it seems kind of unfinished, but I think there's kind of a beauty in just that, the shades of grays and then some of the stark black lines. So yeah, pencils.
Looks like there's 50 shades of gray there.
As soon as I said the whole shades of gray, I was like, oh crap! I just opened myself up for that.
Someone's gonna make the joke.
Yeah, someone's gonna. So he did. So
is this is it relaxing? Is this relaxing? Is it aggravating? Is it frustrating? Is it taxing? What is it?
Yes.
Not emotionally, but when you sit down and start drawing, is it just something that is just really kind of relaxing and gets a lot out of you, or does it?
It can be. When I kind of joked when I kind of interrupted you and said yes, because it can be all of those things. But for the most part, I'll sit down and I'll get into a piece and I'll look up and all of a sudden 2 hours have gone by. It just kind of takes over, and which is why I try to get in a somewhat comfortable drawing position, because otherwise I realize, I've been hunched over for 2 hours and this is going to suck in the morning. But yeah, I mean, it's something that I'd say for the most part it's very relaxing. It's something I definitely enjoy doing. It has its frustrating moments. Like I said, I'll see something. As an artist, I'm very much a perfectionist, and I'll look at something even when it's done, and I could probably point out 20 things I feel are wrong with it. but I mean, for the most part, there's a sense of satisfaction when it's finished, at least. And there's a little frustration when it doesn't get there right away.
Now, Strip, as we're seeing them in here, is that as the listeners are seeing? So Strip is just kind of cycling through some of the artwork that we've got.
And this particular one, this is the colored version of that, and there's a little story behind the little imps around are when you look at them online, you'll see their little Cthulhu. It was kind of a nod to H.P. Lovecraft, and they're kind of cutesy. I call them Cthulhu cherubs. I'm thinking about trademarking the name because I think that'd be awesome.
You should do that.
I can make like little stuffed, plush Cthulhu cherubs.
You'd make so much money.
I know, right? So, and
then you could get like angry Cthulhu cherubs as like an Android game.
I know, right?
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
And then when like Cthulhu rises and takes over the world, I'd probably be so dead. But it would be worth it.
Or they'd give you a seat on the panel.
Yeah, So, but it was I did a piece for Halloween several years ago, and I had one of them kind of floating in the background, and I had several people who said, "Oh my God, those are so cool! They're so cute, but they're kind of disgusting at the same time." And so it was one of those things that I was working on this particular kind of succubus imp thing, and I was like, "Oh, that'd be cool if there's like a bunch of Cthulhu cherubs like hanging all over and stuff." So, but Cthulhu cherubs, you heard about them first here?
I did. Yeah, you better get it because this goes all over the world now.
Yeah.
This is internet radio.
I know, right?
So
yeah,
right now there's somebody in the Ukraine going.
I can't believe I'm here with K-Dog and.
It's in St. Paul's at the compound.
And, right, exactly.
Yeah.
St. Paul.
Right now, somebody in the Ukraine is going, when this civil war is over, I'm going to make some Cthulhu cherub dolls. And,
cool. Sign me up.
Sign me up. And then you'll be flying to the Ukraine to kick somebody's ass.
There you go.
So Des is going to, if she hasn't already, put the link to your Facebook page.
Okay.
Through our Facebook feed, our Twitter feed.
Okay.
And also, Strip, if at some point when we come back live, if you can just put that as a header at the bottom. Des can get you the Facebook link. I sent it over to her already. And so if people want to follow you or keep track of your artwork or see what you're doing.
Yeah, and on Facebook especially, as I'm working on a piece, every other Friday I have off from my day job, so you can find me at Hot Shots Java hanging out, doing sketches, and I'll take pictures on my iPhone. of what I'm doing, what I'm working on. Sometimes I'll even put a shout out, say, hey, I was thinking about this. What do you guys think? And my, half a dozen hardcore fans will respond back. No, I joke. There's a lot of people that I do have on Facebook. And it's nice. I like that interaction.
I like that one, by the way. I really like that one.
Yeah,
that's
I did
very
that.
classic pinup. Oh,
Yeah.
Strip, go back one.
Yeah, I did that for. I actually started the sketch for that about 2 years ago, and it sat in pencils for a long time. And on Veterans Day, I saw the pencils, and I had that done probably within an hour.
Really?
I went to town on it. It was Veterans Day. I posted it up on Veterans Day, put it up on my online store. I actually had 3 people purchase it like within an hour after I actually had it posted, because I put it on Facebook. And but it was something that it kind of meant a lot to me. I do come from a military background. Wasn't military myself, but I have a great deal of respect for what those guys do. And this was something that, again, I'm really intrigued by the kind of the World War II era pinups, and so that was kind of my tribute to that. So, but and actually this is I have a working on something with someone actually who works with the VFW, and we're gonna work on something to where we might actually get several of these out to vets and things
Very
like
nice.
that. So,
And before you go through any more, too, I'm going to give it a disclaimer really quick. We should have given before we did this. We joked about this before the show, but some of these may have borderline.
Oh, it's
may
not
shoot.
borderline.
Okay.
Some of them they got nips hanging out.
Okay.
It's not full Monty. I did have one that I almost included, but it was a succubus picture. It was my first fully digitally colored picture. The only thing that was done by hand was pencils. Everything else was done on the computer. I'm really proud of it, but it's very like full Monty hanging out.
Really?
So I'll show it to you sometime.
Okay.
I'll
Yeah.
even give you a personalized copy. No, I'm
Nice
just kidding. Anyway.
score. But if you are allowing your young
Yeah.
children to watch this while you watch my show, you need to call CPS before we do it for you. Anyway, okay. So, can people come to you? Do people come to you and say, "Hey, I got this idea. This is the kind of artwork I'd like. Can you put this together for me?" Is that? Can people come to you with ideas like that? Or are you able to?
I've had a couple folks do that. I actually have done some designs for folks for tattoos, and they've come forward and said, "Hey, I'd really like to see this." Or just actually, I did an exercise a couple months ago. It was right before my first local con appearance at the Pacific Northwest toy or gaming or comic toy and gaming convention here at the Kitsap Mall. And I went out on Facebook and I said, "All right, everybody, give me ideas. I want to practice like somebody giving me something and just doing like, just quick sketch." And I got everything from a midget on a giraffe to a tree on a cliff, over, looking over a sunset to actually that's where the minions were spawned. I did a Wolverine minion and a Bat minion.
A Batman minion?
And then
really?
it just kind of like went from there. I've done a Spider-Man minion, an R2-D2 minion. And then right before the Super Bowl, somebody said, "Dude, you should do a 12th Man minion." And I said, okay. And true story, I kid you not, I was working on this the day before the Super Bowl. So I did the pencils and everything, and I sketched it like, okay, I'm going to be optimistic. And I sketched him with the trophy.
Did you? Yeah.
So they won because of me.
Because you gave him the
Anyways,
trophy.
but yeah, so yeah, it's so yeah, people have come to me and said, "Hey, would you do this?"
That is, by the way, the artwork that
know.
he did for me. By the way, that you really can't see on camera, but eventually it will be right here. It will be right here behind me.
Oh, I'm on the wall.
You're gonna be on the wall. You're the first actual artwork that's on the wall. Everything else strip jacked out of a National Geographic magazine.
Nice.
Which again, I'm really sad that there's no nips on the wall. But yeah, you're playing something over the air, Strip. By the way. Thank you.
Cool.
All right, so talk really quick. Talk about this because we're going to use this segue to something else.
Okay.
Events like what they had at the mall.
Yeah.
How important is that for guys like you, artists, local guys that are just trying to get out, get a little bit of a name built, get their stuff exposed? Go hold off on the break because we'll just give me 4 minutes on the break, pretty please. Thank you. He's the best ever. Because I'm just started asking a question. How important is events like that?
Don't pay attention to the clock.
I know. Well, we're going to ignore the clock for the moment. And Strip is such a professional that he's not even going to give me any crap about it. He's just going to say okay, because he is that awesome.
Sarah's there, huh?
No, she's not.
Hey, Paul. You know that thing that you hate that I do to you?
The thing that I hate?
That I do to you when you're, kids screaming in the background and you're not paying attention, or you don't mute your mic? Never mind.
I don't know what he's talking about. How important are events like that? Because I was really impressed at the turnout of the one at the mall.
I was too. I would say especially for starting out and trying to get your name out there, it's really important. Not even really so much about the commercialism aspect or like I'm selling prints, but if I didn't sell a single thing, just the fact to get to interface with people, show them who I am, get some of my stuff out there, get my name out there. So there's 2 other shows this year with that, and a couple other things I'll be doing throughout the rest of the year. And but yeah, I think it's really important just kind of getting out there and meeting people, talking to people, if nothing else, then just for the just kind of networking and getting to meet like-minded individuals who like comics, who like funky artwork, who like whatever. And just being able to talk to them for a few minutes when they come by, or hanging out and talking to them for longer. It's a good experience. I enjoyed it.
It still feels very underground in a lot of ways, right? I mean, there's not. I mean, unless you find an event like that,
yeah,
it doesn't feel very mainstream to otherwise get exposed to the medium, right?
Yeah, it is kind of I think as far as getting in like mainstream, like whether it's comics or graphic novel or mainstream art, it's very much I feel anyway, kind of right place, right time. Somebody like, that's just so awesome, and it just takes off. Or you'll see somebody's webcomic you've been following for years, and then all of a sudden it just strikes a nerve and goes commercial or mainstream. But yeah, I'd say for shows like this and local opportunities, the con circuit, whatever. Some of your bigger cons like San Diego Comic-Con, I think is probably the biggest, or Dragon Con in Atlanta. I mean, those are kind of cater more to the mainstream,
right.
Surely. But you've got some of the like Jet City Con in Tacoma, which is later this year. Mm-hmm. It's actually hosted by the same people who do Emerald City Con, which is in a few weeks. But it's a smaller venue. It's just one day. It's a good opportunity for local artists. The tables are a little less pricey, so there's not as much you have to put in for overhead. And just kind of get out there in the community and talk to people about what you do, and get out there and do what you want to do.
And then let's talk about the next one that's coming.
Sure.
And we're actually going to get one in our own backyard out here in July.
Yes.
With GameCon. Talk about that a little bit.
There was a Kickstarter that closed the day I was February 1st when I was in the mall doing the Pacific Northwest Comic Toy and Gaming Convention, and as a Kickstarter for GameCon. They have a Facebook page. It's GAMCON 2014. It's Bremerton's first gaming and art and music convention. They're going to have a little bit of everything from anime to comics to music. And I was a backer for that, which will get me a table for both days there. It's July 5th and 6th. It's down the convention center on the ferry terminal down there. So, yeah, it's the first of its kind for Bremerton. A group of guys got together and they really wanted to see something like that on this side of the water. Most of the bigger events or cons are either in Seattle, Tacoma, Portland, and so trying to set up something on this side of the water that caters to that, those subgroups. So,
is there any idea how big this is going to turn out when the whole thing is over? I mean, the response I've gotten just since it's been officially announced, just the people talking about it's been pretty massive.
I was going to say I'm real excited about it. It was kind of it seemed kind of a little bit of a slow start to the Kickstarter, but the guys had a table. In fact, they were right across from me. We chatted for a bit, it was one of those things where we started off the day, I think about they were about halfway to the goal, maybe 2/3 of the way to the goal, and by the end of the that stint there in the mall, they met the goal like by $35, and then when it finally closed that night, they were well over. So they met their goal and then some. And I've talked to people here about it, and once they've heard about it, they're like, "Wow, that's really cool," And I think the fact that something on, something we can call our own on this side of the water, and we're close to Seattle, but we're not.
Yeah.
It's one of those things where we're our own community. We've got our own things going on here, and it'd be nice to have something like that. So I'm real excited about it. And I think a lot of people, as they find out about it, are too. So
it'll be awesome. All right, man.
Yeah.
Hey. Again, check out we've got the link on our Facebook page, on our Twitter page to Chris's Facebook page to follow his art. Give him a follow, give him a like, take a look at some of his stuff. On your Facebook page, I assume, is a link to your store if people want to pick up some of your art?
Yeah, I have that in the About section, cdpo.com. It's pretty easy,
That's easy
to get to. And from that website, there's a link to my Tumblr, there's a link to my online store, link to my Facebook page also. But Facebook is where, that's kind of the day-to-day. It's my artist persona. I do have a personal page, but this is where I post things. Sometimes it's art-related, sometimes it's not, but most of the time it is. Whether it's my art or things that are going on like GameCon or Jet City or Emerald City. And yeah.
Yeah. And again, it's the letter C and the letter D, not C like Paul was saying, but the letter C and the letter D and then POE. Paul, do you have anything you want to ask? I didn't let Paul get a word in edgewise.
I haven't had a chance to prep for this guest, so I didn't want to interrupt. So,
yeah.
No, I thought it was all great.
Cool. Thank you.
Awesome. Thanks, man. All right. Chris, thanks for coming down, man.
Rock and roll.
We're going to have you on again as we get closer to GameCon, too. And
and
info
GameCon again is July 5th and 6th. So not only because I'm going to be there, but definitely check it out. Anybody out there, they do have a website, but Facebook, if you just type in GameCon, GAMCON, it should pop right up. It's GameCon 2014. So check
I'm going to wear
out.
my I'm Here for CD Poe t-shirt to GameCon when I go. All right, man. All right, so check him out again. Check the links on our page off of the Facebook or the Twitter feeds, and then use that to access Chris's CD Poe site. And if you like his stuff, buy it. That's how the artists, really get rewarded for their hard work is to make a little bit of money off of their artistry. So,
Sweet.
Chris, thanks for coming down, man.
Rock and roll, buddy.
Awesome. I'll see you tomorrow too.
Yeah.
All right. Stick around. We're gonna go to break. When we come back from break, Paul and I will, I think, spend the rest of this hour. Paul, let's catch up on Ukraine, shall we?
Yes, we shall.
We shall catch up on the Ukraine, and we're gonna find that guy that's trying to get the cherubs going. What are they called again?
Oh, the Cthulhu cherubs.
The Cthulhu cherubs.
Yeah.
We're gonna find him.
Yeah, let me know
And
about that.
we're going to lay it to smack it down.
Sweet.
All right, stick around. Outlaw Radio Network. We're back after this break. St. Paul, the voice of reason. K-Dog, the loose cannon on EdgeMediaSource.com.
Get outlawed.
The Yacht Club Broiler is Silverdale's premier dining establishment and has been for over 20 years. Come experience the Yacht Club Broiler's famous happy hour with a casual and friendly atmosphere. Free Wi-Fi service is now available. The Yacht Club Broiler is open 7 days a week for lunch and dinner at 9226 Bayshore Drive in Silverdale. The Yacht Club Broiler, Silverdale's premier dining establishment.
Hey, sports fans, have you ever wished there was a live and local all-sports broadcasting network? But wish no more. It's ISPNSports.com. Kitsap's only live and local all-sports 24-hour broadcasting network featuring the Kitsap Blue Jackets, Olympic College Rangers, high school athletics, and the ISPN Sports Show every Saturday morning from 10 to noon with interviews from exclusive guests from around the Sound. So, you want sports? Go to ISPNSports.com.
CoinForce.com is your headquarters for superior quality challenge coins, proudly serving military and non-military customers worldwide. Located near the main gate of McCord Air Force Base and close to Fort Lewis, CoinForce.com is owned and operated by retired military veterans. CoinForce.com understands your needs and are proud to continue serving the military community in our own special way. For an undisputed best value, extreme quality, and superior customer service, when you're looking for the world's largest selection of challenge coins, visit CoinForce.com, owned and operated by retired military veterans. Brothers Power Sports has been a locally owned family business in Bremerton since 1949. From new and pre-owned motorcycles, ATVs, scooters, boats, and watercraft, to parts and service and apparel, Brothers Power Sports is committed to being your source for all your motorsports needs, and they're a proud sponsor of the Habitat for Humanity of Kitsap County. Brothers Power Sports, 5205 First Street in Bremerton, and online at brotherspowersports.com. Stop in and feel the difference at Brothers Power Sports in Bremerton.
Located 3520 Kitsap Way in Bremerton, Arnold's Home Furnishing has been serving the Kitsap County community since 1951. For nearly 60 years, Arnold's has been here taking care of its customers with excellent customer service and quality merchandise you'll find nowhere else. And visit arnoldshomefurnishing.com to view all the merchandise available and see their current promotions. Arnold's Home Furnishing, to fit every lifestyle and budget.
As Kitsap County's largest maintenance provider, Team Innovative in Paulsbo provides commercial and residential maintenance to hundreds of millions of dollars of local real estate. With services including parking lot maintenance and street cleaning to landscape and design, Team Innovative is committed to using a green approach and following a strong environmental conscience. Team Innovative Services, 697-6858, or visit them online at getinnovative.net. Team Innovative Services, get serious, get innovative.
The government has deliberately sought to deceive the United States by false statements and expressions of hope for continued peace.
You're listening to the Outlaw Radio Network. OutlawRadioNetwork.com.
This country can't be knocked out with one punch. We get right back up again, and when we do, the world's going to hear the roar of our engines.
Oops, sorry. Outlaw Radio Network.
Wow, he made it back as soon as he heard your voice.
I just always expect that the mic's going to be hot. I think I know Winstrip's going to unmute the mic, and then I'm wrong. And
well, yeah, I've got a mute button here, so I've been muting myself.
No.
Nice job, Paul.
It'll get unmuted when you hear me start to fade it.
All right, fair enough.
That's how. What do you think I do when I fade it?
I don't know.
Your mic's always
sometimes
unmuted.
I can't tell when it's fading.
Uh-huh.
Because of the music that we use. I'm not really sure what this whistling's for anyway, by the way. What is this whistling
Western.
from?
It's Western it's spaghetti Western music.
I know, but is it from a specific spaghetti Western is what I'm asking?
Yeah.
Is it?
Yeah, I think that piece is from actually this piece of music I'm pretty sure is from Inglourious Bastards.
Oh, Inglourious Bastards wasn't spaghetti Western though, was it?
Well, it was done in a spaghetti Western style.
Was it spaghetti Western style? I never saw the movie.
Oh, you should watch it. It's humorous, to say the least.
Is it? All right, fair enough.
Yes.
All right, so as you can tell, Chris has cleared out. Des has joined me back at the spot here. She'll continue to be our media goddess, our social media goddess. Chris actually came up with that nickname for her. I like that. So henceforth, Des shall be known as the social media goddess.
Was Chris single?
No, Chris is married.
Okay, just checking.
Chris is married. Chris is a good guy.
When a man starts referring to a woman as a goddess, generally there's something behind that.
It's
just asking.
Just a positive term. You didn't get the impression he was hitting on you, did you?
No,
it's
not
just
at
a
all.
positive term.
Okay.
But thanks to Chris for coming in. And again, check out. You did put that on the media feeds and all that. The link to his Facebook page. So check that out. And like I said before, as goes with anything, if you like what he does, check out his store and pick up some stuff from the store. That's how the artists make their due for their hard work, for their artistry. So thanks for Chris for coming down, and we'll have him on in a couple of months. Paul, how goes your week, buddy? We haven't really checked in at all. How goes the week?
It's been very, very, very outrageously busy. I can't really quite yet talk about why, but I can say that we're working on some big things within the national media networks. So yeah, but it's been big. And I wish I could talk about it more, but I can't yet.
But once the charges get dropped, you can talk about it more, right?
Yeah, and hopefully she forgives me. So we'll see how that goes.
Fair enough then. All right.
What did she just say? Did she say who?
I said, ooh.
Oh, okay.
Ooh,
Hey, Kevin.
she said
Kevin,
yes.
Kevin, backhander. I'm kidding.
Wow, can we just promote that? He just promoted, woman abuse right there?
Would you like me to be Ray Rice for a minute? Is that what you're asking me to do?
Wait, did she say woman abuse?
Woman abuse, that's what she said.
Is that a thing? Woman abuse?
Domestic violence is a thing.
That's a thing, yeah.
Okay, whatever. You can go.
I did see a T-shirt once that said 50,000 battered women and I eat mine plain is what it says. So
right.
that's what the
Like
T-shirt
that joke. Kevin, you used to tell that joke. What do you tell the woman with two black eyes? Nothing. You already told her
that's
twice.
Right. Yeah. There's another joke I will tell, but I'll save that for the fourth hour because it's not really something I can get away with during this part of the show.
That's probably
it never is.
All right, so let's we got about 12 minutes left in this segment.
Yeah.
Let's catch up because we did spend a good chunk of time last week. In fact, I think most of the show last week talking about Ukraine. Well, no, it's a pressing issue.
No, it is, but you guys did talk about it.
We talked about it a lot.
That was the only topic that night.
It really was. Let's talk about this, Paul. What's the latest situation, as you understand it, going on in the Ukraine? There's been no movement, positive or negative. I've gotten the impression things are kind of at a standstill at this point. Although Russia seems to have sent more troops into Crimea. Give us an idea from your perspective where things stand.
Oh boy! Listen, there are reports coming out right now that the streets in Lenin Square in the Crimea are flooded with Russian supporters. There have been a lot of pro-Russia demonstrations within the Crimea. I know that there have been groups that have attempted to force the Ukrainian soldiers to surrender, which they have refused to do. No shots have been fired. There were peacekeeping forces that went into the Crimea in an attempt to be observers, and they were forced out of the country.
Mm-hmm.
So I would say right now it is as completely as confusing as it was last week. But there is a real positive note to take here, and that's that it hasn't gotten worse, and that's actually a real good. That's a positive thing. And I want to make this point very, very clear to everybody that's listening right now. This situation could so easily blow up and put us in a World War I-esque type situation. That I think that it's important that no matter where you fall on President Obama, that right now we're talking about policy issues. But we have sent a U.S. naval vessel into the waters around Crimea,
mm-hmm.
and which is, in my opinion, what needed to happen. It's what people like myself advocated for. There had to be some show of strength and unity. There had to be something done, even if it was small. And I said that last week, and it was finally done on Friday, I believe. And so now we just have to be prepared that if things take a turn for the worse, the criticism stops, and you got to come together and support the president. Does that make sense?
Sure.
Okay. So I just want to make sure that people understand where, as critical as I am of the president, that's where I stand on. No question about it.
So, according to what Putin has laid out there, or Putin, is it Putin? Putin. According to what Putin has put out there, the issues within Crimea aren't
like
Russia's.
Soccer. And it's Putin to the left.
It's not Russia's problem. Russia is not really wanting to be in the middle of this mess. It's Russia's supporters and Russia. I don't want to call them sympathizers, but you get the point. That live in Crimea, that want to break away from the Ukraine and go back to Russian rule, and that really Russia is just kind of looking out for essentially Russian people in Crimea. Now, how valid of an argument is that? Now, I don't want to get into the whole is Russia involved in stoking the fire, because I think we know that that's true.
First of all, you would have to be mentally incapacitated to not recognize that Russia is clearly stoking the fire. It's like going out there and saying, "Oh, hey, those aren't Russian troops; those are just concerned Crimeans dressed in Russian uniforms with the patches taken off.
Right.
We don't know who they are. We don't control them. Listen, what that makes them is international criminals. Okay? Judge Andrew Napolitano on Fox News explained it very well, that if they are indeed just concerned Crimean citizens arming themselves with fully automatic weapons, taking over a naval or surrounding military forces and police forces, then that makes them criminals. And so, but I did hear some comments coming from citizens in the Crimea who said, "Yeah, this is Russian diplomacy, all right. It's Russian diplomacy at the end of an AK-47. That's Russian diplomacy." And one thing I think that has become adamant, very clear. I will be adamant. It's become very clear to me that our president, Barack Obama, the way that he likes to handle things, he's way out of his league right now on Putin, and because literally Putin just keeps calling his bluff.
Well, hold that thought for a second. I want to go back to the original question, though.
Sure.
Taking out the argument that Russia's not stoking the fire, how possible is it, or how feasible is it, that a good part of this issue, though, is the fact that in Crimea there really is an outpouring of support of residents in Crimea to go back to Russia, to basically say, we don't want to be a part of Ukraine anymore. We want to go back to rule under Putin and the Russian central government. And if that is what they want, if there really is that basis, does the U.S. have a dog in this fight? Meaning, does it make more sense to say, well, you get to decide your own rule anyway?
Yeah.
And is it that, if that's the case, does it make more sense to us to back away and let them self-determine?
Yeah. First of all, I don't think you're ever going to know what the true feelings are of the Crimean people. You're never going to know. They very well may, a majority of them very well may want to go back and rejoin Russia. But you're never going to know.
Right.
Crimea is never going to go back to the Ukraine now. It's firmly in the control of Russia. Right now, we're just in the phase of people getting used to it. Does that make sense?
Right.
And so it's almost irrelevant. Our dog in the fight is to ensure that Putin and the Russians don't take further steps against the people of the Ukraine. Because if you use and justify use of force to retake Crimea because you are quote unquote looking out for the best interest of the Russian people that are there, well, guess what? On the eastern portion of Ukraine, the eastern third of Ukraine has scattered Russian hamlets all up and down it, which means he could use that excuse to then go in and take more of the Ukraine. It's what he did in Georgia. He said, "I'm just going in to protect the Russian people that already live there." Well, geez, with that line of thought, I guess we better go take part of Canada, huh? And while we're at it, we should go ahead and take part of Mexico. You know what I mean? It's not okay, and it's not okay for the people to compare this to when we went into Iraq or Afghanistan, because we're not still in either one of those countries, and we're not annexing them to become part of the United States either. Nor did we do it with Guam or Cuba.
Right.
You know, so people who try to use a moral equivalence there, it doesn't wash. You can't say those things. There's no equivalence whatsoever. But I know some people like to, we went into Iraq. You know what? Shut the hell up. We're not talking about the same things. You know it. I know it. So let's not try to conflate the issues. We're talking about an individual who's trying to annex a portion of a country that doesn't belong to him.
Okay.
But honestly, right now, we can't go to war over Crimea. We shouldn't go to war over Crimea. But what we do have to do is what the president did finally on Friday, which was send a show of force in support of Ukraine and its independence.
Let me read you a comment, and this is on CNN.com. It's in an article about what's going on in Ukraine. Okay. They had a conversation with CNN analyst and Russian journalist Vladimir Posner, and here's what he had to say. Quote, "I think it shows," and they're talking about Putin's discussions with Merkel from Russia. And from Germany, I mean, sorry, Chancellor. And British Prime Minister David Cameron. And here's what he had to say about those conversations. He said, quote, "I think it shows that President Putin is very worried by the situation. I think speculation that he's trying to rebuild the Soviet Empire are way off base. I think he knows all too well the necessity of Russia having an international relationship with the West. My hope is, with all the escalators going on, that there is a real chance of finding some way out of this very dangerous situation. So what Posner is essentially saying, and again, I don't know if it's right or not, I've got no way of knowing, is that we're reading too much into this and that he's not attempting to rebuild the empire, and this may be blown up a little bit more than it can be, and there's still a solid chance for some other kind of resolution.
Sounds to me a lot like a guy that's on CNN hoping that people will listen to him.
You think so? Okay.
Yeah, I mean, that's my personal opinion. Again, that to me is so naive, and I have a hard time wrapping my head around it. You look at some of the headlines that are coming out right now. U.S. deploys fighter jets to Poland and Lithuania. By the way, another good move by the president. Okay, now.
So, but I find it curious though. It's a good move by the president to put the warship over. It's a good move by the president to deploy fighters, but he's in over his head dealing with Putin.
He is. When I say that, it's because he's coming late to the party and he's not dressed right. Okay. Does that make sense? As soon as things began to go the way that they went there, it was important for us to have sent a message. We never should have allowed the Russian forces to invade Crimea the way that they did. And there would have been ways of stopping that. Again, you cannot be the United States of America in this world and continue to send the message that we have sent over the last several years, which is that we are going to take a back seat and that we are weak and that we are going to disband our military to pre-World War II levels. This is the type of expansion and aggression that we can expect to see more of. Because we have lived for the last 50 years with an idea of peace through strength. And that idea of peace through strength comes at the muzzle of the barrel. You can't pretend that it isn't our strength as a country that's kept the world from erupting into another world war. It is our strength that's kept that from happening. I mean, don't you see that?
No, I don't disagree with you at all. That there has to be a form of a deterrent, or it doesn't work.
Yeah, exactly.
The idea that we're just going to be nice, sweet, and rosy to people, and they're going to respect us and walk away, that doesn't hold true in
right.
world politics.
Right, and that is, that's really the big point here, and that's the point that I've been trying to make. You've got guys, people are writing articles in the Ukraine, the BBC, headlines like Obama versus Putin, how soft is the U.S. leader? When that's the perception that's being put across the world about you, what signal does that send to Iran? What signal does that send to North Korea, who, by the way, just tested another multi-stage rocket several times?
Right.
It's the less respect and honestly the less fear that some of these third world despots have for this country, the less they fear our retribution if they step out of line, or if you will, our rasping with the ruler across their knuckles. The less they fear that, the more apt they're going to be to begin pushing the envelope, and eventually they're going to step over. And you're going to be able to directly draw the correlation that it's been because we had a president that was weak when it came to dealing with foreign powers that did not have our best interest at heart.
Well, it'll be interesting to see what happens. I would be curious if 7 days from now, I almost believe that things will be in the same state they are today in 7 days. I can't see Russia and Putin kicking something bigger off. And I can't see the West or the U.S. specifically doing something that would militarily attempt to push it back. I think we're in a holding pattern. I think this is going to last a while, and I don't know what the end result of it's going to be, but I just have a feeling that that we're in for a long issue with this.
And Kevin, I think you're right, and I hope that you're wrong. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, definitely. All right, let's do this. We got top of the hour news coming up. Hey, Paul, do you know that Fox is debuting the new show Cosmos tonight?
You know what? And I've heard it is going to be a phenomenal show.
I'm recording it on the DVR.
Are you? You're gonna have to tell me how you like it.
Why don't you come over and watch it with me sometime?
Because my gate doesn't swing that direction. I'm sorry.
Actually, they are multicasting it.
Yeah, on 10 different Fox networks.
Yep.
10 different Fox networks. That's a little overboard. I mean, if I wanted to watch the Outdoor Network tonight, I'd be pissed. I'm just kidding. All right, we'll take a break. When we come back, Top of the Hour News is next with NPR News, and then more of the show, including plans for an open-air urinal in a major American city. What the... That's right. I'll explain where and why after the Top of the Hour News. Stand by.
Get outlawed.
From NPR News in Washington, I'm Windsor Johnston. President Obama will meet with interim Ukrainian Prime Minister Arseniy Yatsenyuk this week to talk about the ongoing crisis in Crimea. NPR's Nathan Rott reports.
White House Deputy National Security Advisor Tony Blinken says the meeting will focus on the U.S.'s continued support of the Ukrainian government, both politically and economically. The U.S. has offered a $1 billion aid package to Ukraine. Meanwhile, Blinken says U.S. and international sanctions against Russia for its military involvement in Crimea are having an effect.
The financial markets in Russia have hit lows. The ruble has hit a low. Investors are wondering whether to get involved in Russia because of the instability.
Blinken spoke on NBC's Meet the Press. Yatsenyuk is expected to arrive in the U.S. on Wednesday. Nathan Rott, NPR News.
A multinational search is continuing for a missing Malaysia Airlines jet that went missing shortly after takeoff 2 days ago. The plane was traveling from Malaysia to China Saturday morning local time. NPR's Anthony Kuhn is in Beijing. He reports family members of passengers are anxious for answers.
I was with many of these families in a Beijing hotel. A lot of them are frustrated at the information just trickling into them. Some of them issued a statement today saying they're calling on authorities and the airline to give them the whole story. They don't feel like they're getting the straight truth. Many of them are now packing up and preparing to go to Malaysia, where they hope they'll be closer to the plane when it's found and closer to the source of information that's coming out.
NPR's Anthony Kuhn reporting from Beijing. A marathon spelling bee in Jackson County, Missouri is finally over.
Definition: DEFINITION. Definition.
Seventh grader Kush Sharma has been declared the winner, with fifth grader Sophia Hoffman taking second place. Sharma says he did his best to keep cool during the competition.
It was just trying to keep the doubt away, like, oh, this is the word, this is how you spell it, And so just trying to keep calm and think about what that word is.
The spelling duel between the two began a couple of weeks ago and lasted through nearly 100 rounds, 29 of them yesterday alone. The students say they plan to compete again next year and wouldn't be surprised if their duel lasted even longer. The owner of the NFL's Detroit Lions and the man who helped steer Ford Motor Company for decades has died. William Clay Ford Sr. was the last surviving grandson of company founder Henry Ford. Ford Motor Company released a statement today saying Ford Sr. died of pneumonia at his home. He was 88. This is NPR. For the first time in 23 years, a men's college basketball team will head into the NCAA tournament with a defeated record. Wichita State defeated Indiana State 83-69 Sunday afternoon to win the Missouri Valley Conference tournament. Greg Eklund reports from member station KCUR.
Wichita State earned an automatic berth to the NCAA tournament. At the same time, the Shockers ended a drought of unbeaten teams going into college basketball's premier event. They reached the Final Four last year, and they're now 34-0 after their win over Indiana State. Shockers coach Greg Marshall praised his team.
They're just fine young gentlemen, and they also happen to be extraordinarily talented, and they're taking us on some crazy magic carpet ride. So it's really cool.
The last team to head into the NCAA tournament with an unbeaten record was Nevada, Las Vegas in 1991. The rest of the bracket in the 68-team field will be filled in next Sunday. For NPR News, I'm Greg Eklund in St. Louis.
Brad Keselowski has won the NASCAR Sprint Cup race in Las Vegas Motor Speedway today, surging ahead on the final lap when Dale Earnhardt Jr. ran out of fuel. Keselowski says everything came together for an early season victory.
The car was fast. The team executed. Great strategy there at the end, and that's what it takes to win. You got to hit everything. So really thankful for the effort everybody put in today, and hopefully we can get a lot more of these as the year goes on. But it feels good to get that win out early in the year. It really does.
Keselowski virtually assured himself of a spot in the chase for the Sprint Cup Championship after missing it entirely last season. This is NPR News in Washington.
Support for the Yacht Club Broiler is Silverdale's premier dining establishment and has been for over 20 years. Come experience the Yacht Club Broiler's famous happy hour with a casual and friendly atmosphere. Free Wi-Fi service is now available. The Yacht Club Broiler is open 7 days a week for lunch and dinner at 9226 Bayshore Drive in Silverdale. The Yacht Club Broiler, Silverdale's premier dining establishment.
Hey sports fans, have you ever wished there was a live and local all-sports broadcasting network? But wish no more. It's ISBNsports.com. Kitsap's only live and local all-sports 24-hour broadcasting network, featuring the Kitsap Blue Jackets, the Olympic College Rangers, high school athletics, and the ISBN Sports Show every Saturday morning from 10 to noon with interviews from exclusive guests from around the Sound. So, you want sports? Go to ISBNsports.com.
Coinforce.com is your headquarters for superior quality challenge coins, proudly serving military and non-military customers worldwide. Located near the main gate of McChord Air Force Base and close to Fort Lewis, Coinforce.com is owned and operated by retired military veterans. Coinforce.com understands your needs and are proud to continue serving the military community in our own special way. For an undisputed best value, extreme quality, and superior customer service, when you're looking for the world's largest selection of challenge coins, visit Coinforce.com, owned and operated by retired military veterans.
Measures which will affect the lives of millions, born and unborn, are now before us. We must expect a great expense of blood. And then, we must always remember that a free constitution of civil government cannot be purchased at too dear a rate, as there is nothing on this side of Jerusalem of greater importance to mankind. I see a new nation ready to take its place in the world. Not an empire, but a republic. And a republic of laws, not men.
Those who would trade our freedom for the soup kitchen of the welfare state have told us they have a utopian solution of peace without victory. They call their policy accommodation. And they say if we'll only avoid any direct confrontation with the enemy, he'll forget his evil ways and learn to love us. All who oppose them are indicted as warmongers.
You're listening to the Outlaw Radio Network. OutlawRadioNetwork.com.
I was waiting for it to fade. Hey, Paul, if you don't agree that Obama is a better president than Reagan, say something now. Go ahead.
I told you. He only comes in when you're like, yell, welcome back.
You go. All right, well, I gave Paul the opportunity to say that. So clearly Paul agrees that Obama's a better president than Reagan. Thank you for that. All right, 253-617-1440, by the way, is the number to call if you want to chime in during this hour of the show. Breaking news. This is big news, by the way. Extremely big news if you're me. Not as big news if you're anybody else. But huge news for me. Fox has picked up the Mindy Project for another season. Some people thought that it would be canceled. So, it's back. Which makes me very happy.
And he's still not back.
Makes me very happy that Mindy's back. Because Mindy Kaling, she's phenomenal. I love her.
Do you like her with the short boy hair?
No, she got the long hair back. I didn't like her with the short boy hair at all.
That was just wrong on her. That was really wrong. That did not fit her at all.
It was really wrong for her. But yeah, I don't normally. I won't say it.
I'll say it.
Go ahead.
He does not normally go for that colored skin type women, but he would definitely go for Mindy.
Yeah, I normally date Caucasian girls. But Mindy, I would. Yeah, she's awesome. She's just phenomenal. All right. But anyway, Mindy Project got picked up. New Girl got picked up today as well. But we knew that was going to happen. New Girl was not even at risk.
Right. Zoe Deschanel.
Yeah, who looks just like freaking
Katy Perry.
Katy Perry.
There's actually about 10 other women in Hollywood that look exactly like her too.
Yeah.
It's very common. They all look very similar.
Yeah.
Someone got something explaining.
Good shows. In fact, maybe during the fourth hour too, we'll talk about shows we like too, just to give people an idea of other shows to watch if they haven't watched them, and pick up some new likes. Maybe we'll talk about that in the fourth hour as well. I'm holding off till Paul gets here because Paul's not at his desk. Surprisingly, he's not back on time. Go ahead.
Grimm. Have you seen that show yet?
My son Michael watches Grimm and really likes it. My problem is I'm gone from the house 13 hours a day, so I have a very limited amount of time that I can watch stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And so I got set shows I watch, and adding anything into my set list usually means I have to get rid of something from my set list just because I don't have enough time.
Yeah.
So I'll tell you what my set shows are. You care to hear what my set shows are?
Sure. Go ahead.
Here's my set shows. In no particular order, but I'll probably list my favorite ones first. So Suits is probably my biggest follower right now.
I have not seen that. Is that?
I love that show. Paul, have you ever watched Suits?
I have not seen that show even once.
If you have the opportunity to watch Suits, I think you should watch it. I think you would love it. It's a legal show, and I hate legal shows. I hate law. They just normally bore me to tears. This one's very well written. And they use the word shit a lot, which makes me
sounds
happy.
like my kind of show.
Yeah, they do use the word shit a lot. So I'm big on that. I'm big on NCIS. I'm big on CSI.
Same. NCIS, CSI.
I'm big on Blacklist because Megan Boone is now number 3 on my top 5 list.
Reference to a conversation on the show Megan, 4 weeks ago.
Megan Boone. Holy God. Let's see. I'm big on TNA wrestling. That's big for me. Every Thursday night's TNA wrestling. White Collar.
What's the TNA stand for?
Total Nonstop Action is what it stands for. Yeah.
Not what I thought. Okay.
I know it's not what you thought. White Collar on USA I watch a lot of. Covert Affairs I watch.
What is going on?
Who's doing dishes? Truman?
Right?
Yeah. All right.
And then it just starts again.
All right. I'm trying to think what else I watch.
Revenge and Criminal Minds are two of my favorites.
Bar Rescue.
Oh, that's a good one.
Bar Rescue's good. I watch Bar Rescue when I can.
They did a bar here in Seattle. Well, not here in Seattle, but they did a bar in Seattle on one of their episodes.
They did one in Kingston. They did the Whiskey Creek Steakhouse.
No, that was not Bar Rescue. That was restaurant.
Wasn't that Gordon Ramsay?
No, that wasn't Gordon Ramsay.
Gordon Ramsay did a restaurant in Seattle as well.
No,
it was Kitchen Nightmares.
It was in Everett, actually.
Oh, it was?
No, actually, he did one in Everett.
No, he did.
And he did one in North Seattle too.
Yeah, because I remember seeing it said Seattle on it.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of what the Restaurant Impossible or whatever was the one that did the one up in Paulsbo.
Is that it? It was up at Whiskey Creek Steakhouse in Keyport.
Yeah, so those are most of the shows that I watch religiously. I just don't have enough time to watch everything. And
Revenge is just
screw Revenge.
Great. You don't like that one?
Nah, not so much.
I love.
Did you say Walking Dead at all?
No, I haven't. I've never seen Walking Dead.
Me either.
I've never seen Dexter. I've never seen
Doctor Who, and apparently that's a really big one.
I've never seen Breaking Bad.
Me either.
It's not that I've got anything against them. I just don't have the time to add more shows to the repertoire.
You got a phone, right? You got a laptop?
Yeah, but I'm on the ferry, and the problem
you're on the ferry.
But the ferry internet is internet
it doesn't matter.
Crap.
Hold on. Who do you have for internet service?
I have Comcast for internet. Yeah.
Yeah. You can download. There's actual shows you can download to your phone.
I'm not going to watch it on my phone.
But you can.
If I could download it to my laptop, I might consider it. But I'm not going to download it to my phone. People who watch TV on their phone should be taken out back and shot.
You know, it's
Parks
not
and
so bad.
Recreations are a
That's
good one.
ridiculous, Kevin.
It's in high def, and I'm going to watch it on a 2-inch screen. I don't think so.
Yeah.
I don't think
Beach
so.
just sitting around doing nothing.
No, I play on Facebook and make witty posts and witty comments.
That piss everybody off
That
on
piss
Facebook.
including St. Paul, the voice of reason. I piss him off all the time.
No, I just try to suggest that if you'd spend half the time researching topics as you do posting that ridiculous stuff that you post, although it's quite frankly very humorous most of the time.
It is. I'm a very funny guy on the Facebook.
I honestly read all of your posts. I just never like or comment on them.
I think you should start commenting on them. I really think you should. There was one that I posted in our room just to get Paul's thoughts. I didn't know if it was,
And Paul probably didn't comment, did he?
No, you did. That was one that you corrected me on.
Oh, which one was that?
I don't remember what it was about, but
I'll find it.
But then I thought you had deleted portions
you
or
have
something.
you have a lot of friends on your Facebook page that get very they try to get very personal and they attack, and it has nothing to do with you. It's just that.
No, I have one friend. His name is Bernie, and he does that all the time. By the way, did you see the comment I made yesterday about National Women's Day?
I did.
Yes,
I did.
yesterday
Yes.
was National Women's Day. Congratulations, ladies. I hope you got back to doing dishes today. Knock yourselves out.
Make him a
They're all
sandwich
over at
too
my
while you're
house
at
doing
it.
the dishes.
Yeah, who is doing dishes, by the way?
Hunter is, and he's short, so everything is kind of tough for him. So he can't help but
I
make
understand that.
Get him a stool.
I
One little
understand
step,
that.
You know, one of those little things they can just step up on.
Oh, did you guys hear about the teenager that sued her parents, right, for her her tuition money for
she's-
college? It was
she's currently-
declined.
Well, there was part of it got denied.
Oh, I read that everything was denied for.
No,
or
part of
everything
it
she
got
filed for.
denied, and part of it the judge won't rule on yet.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
And I forgot what part was it that got denied?
It had something to do with her future college tuition because she was also basically she was looking for $650 a week in support and maintenance fees, and the judge that's what got denied. But as far as the college tuition, that has not been ruled on yet.
I still don't see how they could rule on that.
I don't
either. I don't either.
She
I
chose
think
to
it's
move it.
ridiculous.
There's no parent is financially obligated to take care of the kid after. they
No,
turn
but I
18.
think it has to do with whether or not they had put money into college CDs and stuff that was specifically for her for college, and they're now denying her that. I believe that has a lot to do with it.
Yeah, it's still their money though.
Well, but it provides when you put money into certain forms specifically for your child's college fund, there are certain tax breaks that come along with that and stuff like that.
Not necessarily, though. If they take it out and it's not used to go to her college, then all those tax breaks go away. It's like a retirement.
That's correct. Yeah,
so
that's correct.
if they pull the
I'm
money,
making the point though that in a court of law, the reason why the judge wouldn't have ruled yet is because if you've got this young lady who's saying, hey, my parents took all this money, they took it from friends and family and from things that maybe she did or whatever, and they put it into her college fund, and now they won't give it to her for college. Do you see the legal argument there?
Now that would be true. So if she received money or gave them money under the auspice of college, I would agree with that.
So we'll see what happens. I don't think the judge is going to rule in her favor.
She's suing for tuition to finish her private high school as well as tuition
Correct.
for college. That's what she's suing for.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, she got denied for the
Denied the request for high school tuition and
Yeah.
current living expenses. That's what she was denied.
Yeah.
She's 18 years old. Go pay your
Yeah.
own goddamn bills.
No, she's 17.
No,
She's 18.
Yeah, she's 18 now.
It says she's accusing them of tossing her out of the family home when she turned 18, refusing to pay for her private high school and college education. She's 18. She's been 18.
Yeah. Yeah, she's 18. She can live with me. We'll work it out.
Oh, my God.
I'm kidding. It was a joke. Hey, Paul.
Kevin will take it out and trade.
That's right. Hey, Paul, let me read you the most ridiculous story I've heard all day.
Yes, please do.
And be sure to tag this, will you, Des, in our social media as the social media goddess?
Yeah, send me that link and I
Now,
will.
this is off of KTVU.com, which is one of the stations down in the Bay Area, because only a story like this could come out of the Bay Area. Because, well, it's the Bay Area. I'm sending the link to Des so that she can tag this in our social media if you want to follow along at home. Here we go. San Francisco, an unusual new place to go. Coming soon to a San Francisco park has no seat and no flush handle, but is raising some questions about practicality, from some park goers. Local Brian Ching happily strolled through San Francisco's Dolores Park on Wednesday, enjoying the overcast Wednesday afternoon. One thing he didn't enjoy was the line of porta potties. Quote, porta potties are just kind of gross, just so confined, and people do who knows what in there. Starting next week, check this out, Paul. Starting next week, the park is going to undergo a $12.5 million renovation, including 31 new bathroom stalls in 2 buildings. But they're also going to build what's called a pissoir, or pissoir, which is French for open-air urinal. The pissoir will be constructed on the southwest corner of the park. Here's the quote from the project manager, Jake Gilchrist. The pissoir is, quote, essentially a 7-foot screen with some plants on it and an area drain that empties into the sewer system. So and I can't show you the pictures, but let me explain to you what it is. Picture, if you will, a round area. Let's say
corrugated roofing standing straight up.
No,
Like.
No, it's not even that. Think about maybe 30 feet in diameter, okay? Imagine half of that as a semicircle is walled with something, maybe corrugated steel, something. The other half is wide open except for a small portion in the back, okay? You have to pee, and you don't want to wait in line at the porta potty. You walk to this area, and you stand in the gravel, and you pee. You just pee. Like you're in the middle of nowhere in the woods, hunting and camping and fishing with your dad, you pee. That's what it is.
So
now, the gravel is over a mesh, and when you pee, it goes through the gravel, through the mesh, into a line that goes into the city sewer system. The argument that they do who knows what in the porta potties is the most ridiculous argument for this that I've ever heard in my life. Because if you think that 2 men won't blow each other in a porta potty, they're far more likely to blow each other in the open pissoir. Okay? It's going to cost, I'm trying to figure out where the estimate for this thing is, $15,000 for the pissoir. If they want something that goes, and the argument for this is because 5,000 people visit the park every weekend, the porta potties are being vandalized and overused.
And what did I say? What did I say? I said those could get easily as vandalized as much as a porta potty.
They're going to get vandalized to death.
Yeah.
And if it's about overusing, why not just build the porta potties in such a way so they're not really porta potties anymore, and the porta potties are built line into the sewer system?
Why not just build a bathroom?
Well, I think the argument is if you actually build a structure, you build a structure. But even I am smart enough to know this is not rocket science, Paul. Tell me if I'm wrong, that you could build a concrete slab with a hole, and the hole in the concrete slab connects to piping that goes down to the sewer. Then you could bring a porta potty, put the porta potty on top of the concrete, mount it at all 4 corners with really big nuts and bolts, and then you don't have to build the pissoir, and people can use the porta potties. It doesn't, overuse won't matter because they're going to be going directly into the sewer system.
Don't they have one of those up there by one of the mountain trails?
I have no idea. Mountain trails don't need porta potties because you can piss.
No, I mean it's not like it's
in
like in the entrance
pissoir.
to it in the parking area.
It does occur to me though that I just came up with a new motto for Belfair. Yeah. Belfair, nature's pissoir. And listen, Paul, there's not very many times I'll agree with you that liberals are idiots whacked out of their gourds, but this is one of those times.
Okay.
This would only happen in San Francisco.
No, I agree with you on that one.
This is one of the visitors said that the pissoir is a better idea than the stack of porta potties because, quote, I'm pretty sure it's a little cleaner than what goes on in those porta potties.
I can't even say anything to that, Kevin.
Oh my God, this is such a true story, though. It's awesome. All right, Paul. What else is on your mind tonight? Do you have anything else going on in your world? What? We got like 3 minutes before break. Do you have anything short you want to share?
Short, Paul. Really? You always say something that's going to provoke you.
You can prove I'm nerd for a break. It's a good teaser.
Actually, you know, I try to stay as dialed in as we can, you know, while we're doing the show and stuff. And something just came up on Twitter, and I'm trying to clarify the validity of it. The headline is, this was from a couple days ago, Executive Order, Obama bans critics of Ukraine coup from entering the United States. And so I'm just trying to verify that, because I don't want to report it as being... Okay, see, that's what happens when you get right or left-leaning douchebags who decide that they're going to take one word out of a... Okay, so the Weekly Standard reported that the executive order blocking, quote, property of certain persons contributing to the situation in Ukraine. And so that's what he did. And I get that. You know, he's basically saying, listen, if you got... Yeah, okay. So, listen,
Right.
if you're an extreme right-wing blogger or an extreme left-wing blogger, don't play the telephone game, man.
Yeah, well,
it's goddamn ridiculous. It makes you personally make the world a worse place.
Well, but you understand that's what people now have as an issue with the media, right? Whether it's the mainstream media, Fox, CNN, MSNBC, or even sites like Drudge or conservative bloggers or liberal bloggers or anybody, nobody knows what is or isn't true now, because the story you've got right there. I wouldn't be surprised if some, and I'm not knocking Republicans, because Democrats would do the exact same thing. So don't think I'm picking on one side or the other.
Oh no, they all do it. Both sides do it just as much.
But I wouldn't be, because with this type of story, I wouldn't be surprised if some mainstream Republican guy that we all know by name, and I'm not saying anybody specifically would do this, but somebody of the ilk of a Glenn Beck or a Sean Hannity or somebody with that kind of name recognition is what I mean, wouldn't run with that story as you just read it initially without including the word property to railroad to push their agenda. And again, Democrats will do the same thing on a story that would back their agenda. And I think that's what most Americans have an issue with now, is that none of us even know what is true. Sometimes I sit here, Paul, and I listen to you read some of the stories you have, and I believe you, and I believe that you believe that they're true, and I believe that you trust the sites. But some of the stuff I hear from you or from other people or stuff that gets fed on the internet, I just think, how do we even know? I mean, even the most valid sources are getting taken for a ride on some of this bullshit on the internet.
Yeah, it's important to vet the source and vet and revet. You got to go, like, you know, I've gone to 3 sites checking just to make sure I read this executive order, and if you want to look it up yourself, you're more than welcome to.
Yeah, but listen, several years ago there was a report that, who was it? There was a report that, who was it that supposedly died in Australia? Maybe it was The Rock or somebody famous died in Australia while filming a movie. And major news outlets picked it up and they ran it. It was about 14 hours before he heard the story and basically called a press conference to say, "Motherfuckers, I'm alive." And if you had vetted the story in those 14 hours, you would have seen by vetting the story, okay, well, ABC picked it up, and Entertainment Weekly picked it up, and TMZ picked it up. Well, this must be true. The dude must be dead. And there's so much non-credibility in reporting now. Nobody knows who's right anymore. Just nobody has a clue. Oh, he's on the phone. Oh, for Christ's sake.
Actually, it was for you.
It was for me?
Yeah. I was asked to please ask you to call Cookies as soon as you can. There's a problem down there and nobody can get a hold of the boss.
Okay, well, we're going to break in a second. So,
Yeah.
Was that your wife?
Yeah.
Well, let me find my phone, and I'll call her cell phone.
So, yeah.
I have her,
so sorry about that.
Does it bug you that I have her cell phone on my cell phone? Does that bug you?
No, because I trust you.
She calls me when she has dreams about me.
Wow, he didn't even say he trusted Harmony. He just said he trusted you.
Really? See, I knew you would take it that way, Des.
Well, he can't trust her because she's a woman.
Oof.
Hey, I'm gonna call the clubhouse and see what's going on.
Okay.
And we'll find out where things are at. It is 8:30, which means
by
it's
the way,
almost karaoke time.
Hey, since we're going to break,
yeah,
Wait, when we come back, I'm going to make you laugh your ass off when I tell you the name of that website and what they're dedicated to and how they screwed up the headline in that story.
All right, stand by. Outlaw Radio Network on EdgeMediaSource.com. Thank you.
Get outlawed.
The Yacht Club Broiler is Silverdale's premier dining establishment and has been for over 20 years. Come experience the Yacht Club Broiler's famous happy hour with a casual and friendly atmosphere. Free Wi-Fi service is now available. The Yacht Club Broiler is open 7 days a week for lunch and dinner at 9226 Bayshore Drive in Silverdale. The Yacht Club Broiler, Silverdale's premier dining establishment.
Hey, sports fans, have you ever wished there was a live and local all-sports broadcasting network, but wish no more? It's ISPNSports.com, Kitsap's only live and local all-sports 24-hour broadcasting network, featuring the Kitsap Blue Jackets, Olympic College Rangers, high school athletics, and the ISPN Sports Show every Saturday morning from 10 to noon with interviews from exclusive guests from around the Sound. So, you want sports? Go to ISPNSports.com.
Coinforce.com is your headquarters for superior quality challenge coins, proudly serving military and non-military customers worldwide. Located near the main gate of McCord Air Force Base and close to Fort Lewis, Coinforce.com is owned and operated by retired military veterans. Coinforce.com understands your needs and are proud to continue serving the military community in our own special way. For an undisputed best value, extreme quality, and superior customer service, when you're looking for the world's largest selection of challenge coins, visit Coinforce.com, owned and operated by retired military veterans.
Located 3520 Kitsap Way in Bremerton, Arnold's Home Furnishing has been serving the Kitsap County community since 1951. For nearly 60 years, Arnold's has been here taking care of its customers with excellent customer service and quality merchandise you'll find nowhere else. And visit arnoldshomefurnishing.com to view all the merchandise available and see their current promotions. Arnold's Home Furnishing, to fit every lifestyle and budget.
Brothers Power Sports has been a locally owned family business in Bremerton since 1949. From new and pre-owned motorcycles, ATVs, scooters, boats, and watercraft to parts and service and apparel, Brothers Power Sports is committed to being your source for all your motorsports needs. And they're a proud sponsor of the Habitat for Humanity of Kitsap County. Brothers Power Sports, 5205 First Street in Bremerton, and online at brotherspowersports.com. Stop in and feel the difference at Brothers Power Sports in Bremerton.
As Kitsap County's largest maintenance provider, Team Innovative in Paulsbo provides commercial and residential maintenance to hundreds of millions of dollars of local real estate. With services including parking lot maintenance and street cleaning to landscape and design, Team Innovative is committed to using a green approach and following a strong environmental conscience. Team Innovative Services, 697-6858, or visit them online at getinnovative.net. Team Innovative Services, get serious, get innovative.
All right, it's the Outlaw Radio Network as we are in the second half of hour number 2. K-Dog, the Loose Cannon, Dez, the social media goddess. You like that?
Yeah.
No, we got to come up with
I do
something
like
different.
that.
You can't be calling her a goddess. It just
What?
does not mesh with this show.
He can go F himself.
Well, say that louder so we can hear
I
you.
said he should go F himself because I love that.
Yeah, I bet you do love it. You know, every woman loves being called a goddess. There's just something about a guy named K-Dog calling a woman a goddess that does not sit right.
That's true.
I don't have a problem with it because I know it's not meant any other way.
I'm just...
Right? You didn't even come up with it. So, I mean,
Yeah,
I'm not bothered by it.
I don't sexually harass her till the 4th hour anyway, so...
That's right. That's true.
That's true. Strip is running the boards tonight and doing a darn good job of it, even though he does look a little sleepy. By the way, is anybody else having a hard time getting used to the whole spring forward thing?
When did that actually happen?
This morning.
Okay, it was this morning?
Yeah.
Okay.
Am I the only one having a hard time?
She didn't even know it happened, and she still showed up on time.
No, I knew it happened.
Impressive.
She had to show up on time. I had to pick her up.
Hey, you know what? I didn't get out of bed till like 12 today, so...
I didn't either.
Well,
Yeah,
I
but it
will
was
tell you
only
this, and I
11.
wouldn't normally say this live on air, but I think Mr. Chambers had a great idea on his Facebook post about
Yes.
moving the clocks forward. Kevin,
Yeah.
you should share that with everybody.
If we're going to have daylight savings time, it should happen in the middle of a day on a Monday.
Ooh, I like that.
Yeah, it should happen in the middle of the day on a Monday when you're at work. Fair's fair.
Yeah, why does it
That's
have to
right.
be at 2 a.m.?
Special bar time.
Exactly.
That's right.
Exactly.
That's right.
Exactly.
So
somebody just posted on our page something was nasty. Hold on, I want to see what's
Yeah.
nasty. Oh, Stacy does not like the open urinals idea in San Francisco.
Oh well, she's right. She's not a she. That is a bright young lady right there.
Is it bad? Is it bad? I would fornicate in one of those open urinals. Is
Yes,
that
that
bad?
is very bad because
I
you'd
would-
be fornicating in someone else's piss.
No, because it goes right through the gravel.
That doesn't mean it's not going to be on the gravel still. That's
the rain will come and wash it away.
People will also be pissing on the actual structure as well.
I will. Yeah.
Remind me to bring this up in the fourth hour. I'm going to shoot your argument down in the fourth hour.
Well, Kevin, here's the thing, and I want
Yes.
to tell you this. This is going to sound really horrible when it first
Yes.
comes out of my mouth, but I
As
had
most
this
things do.
dream the other night, Kevin,
that we were cuddling.
and you were in it. You were on a reality television show.
Yeah.
Guess which reality television show you were on, Kevin?
Survivor.
Naked and Afraid.
Oh my god.
I would so be down for that.
Well, because you were just talking about fornicating in an open bathroom, and I was like, oh yeah, I had a dream Kevin was on Naked and Afraid.
I got so much material for the last call tonight. That's all. I'm just going to leave
Oh
it at
my
that.
god.
So much material. All right.
All centers around goddess worship, doesn't it?
No, it does not. Listen, there's nothing wrong with calling a woman a goddess. I think all women are goddesses. The question is, what are they a goddess of? You know, what are they a goddess of? That's the question.
Sure. Well, I can see that being a highly debatable topic, Kevin.
Yeah,
I agree.
That's not the fourth hour topic I was talking about.
So let me get back to this and get this and throw this Ukraine topic away here really quick. So as I was going through the headline read, "Chilling executive order: Obama bans critics of Ukraine coup from entering the United States." And the name of the website, A Sheep No More, the truth about disinformation.
All right, that's outstanding. We're not going to have any disinformation unless you read our site, and then we're going to have plenty of disinformation. And it just goes back to what I said that
See, they even say it in the first paragraph. Now you listen to this and tell me how dishonest this is. Again, the headline, "Chilling executive order, Obama bans critics of Ukraine coup from entering U.S." And here's what they actually wrote in their article, the first paragraph: "Executive order suspends entry rights of anyone who, quote, undermines Ukrainian democracy." Not critics of the Ukraine coup, anyone who undermines Ukrainian democracy. And then it says, Obama, quote, has signed an executive order that authorizes sanctions on individuals and entities responsible for activities undermining democratic processes or institutions in the Ukraine. However, Putin was left off the list.
That is outstanding. But it's not true though, right? The goal is to keep the property and finances and things from leaving the country, essentially.
Yeah,
right?
the whole point is to block property of certain people in the Ukraine from contributing to the situation. In other words, so what they've done is if you know there are people in Russia that are making this stuff go on, the idea is to give banks the power to seize their assets. So they can't use money that's kept in U.S. banks to further their goals in the Ukraine.
Which makes sense.
It does make sense.
It's a good executive order.
It is. That is exactly the kind of thing that executive orders should be used for.
Exactly,
and
because
only the kind of thing.
No politics involved. I mean, you know, we're not going to wait for the House and the Senate to debate it and play political games with it. We know what we need to do. We know what the right thing is to do. Nobody should be throwing eggs or stones about this. This makes perfect sense. Do it, get it over with, stop it from happening. Bam, we're done. That's it.
Right.
Now, I'm sure some Republican somewhere is going to say, you know, Barack Obama shouldn't have done this, blah, blah, blah. We shouldn't be bypassing the Congress and yada, yada. But this is where you would have a logical argument why you need executive orders.
Exactly. Absolutely.
Because if we waited for Congress to do anything,
Listen, if you're going to use executive orders, you use them for things like preventing full-scale wars. You use them in times of national or natural disasters or a national crisis. That's what they're for. But presidents, unfortunately, have gotten into the habit of using them in times of peace when things aren't really that bad, but they just want to shore up their power base. So, anyway, let's move on. I just wanted to bring that to everybody's attention for all of those people that try to suggest that I get my news from only one source, or that I'm so one-sided that I blah, 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 go piss yourself. Okay.
What do you have? Des has found something she wants to read.
No,
Des?
I can't read this right now. I can't read it.
Really? Then why'd you bring it up, Des?
Because I was going to have Kevin read it real quick.
You were going to have Kevin.
No, I can't read it because there's some things in it that I don't think I can read. But Kevin can read it probably.
That you can't
I'm
read?
not. I don't think it's the appropriate time to read it out loud. That's why I was going to have you read it.
Then save it for the fourth hour. Then, if you don't
Okay.
think this is the time, then save it for the fourth hour. Why are you trying to get me in trouble with our advertisers?
I'm not. I was going to have you read it privately with yourself, by yourself. And
I will
then
read
see
it.
your
We'll read it
reaction.
during the fourth hour.
Okay.
Save it till then, and then you can read it because it'll be much more interesting if you read it.
Or much less interesting, depending on your perspective.
I think it'll be funnier to hear her read it.
Okay.
Listen, there's an article on the CNN website as we go back to this Ukraine thing really quick, which is 7 ways to handle the Ukraine situation.
It's a very well written article, by the way.
Have you read it?
Yes. Go ahead and read it.
Well, I'm not going to read the whole thing because it's
fine.
very long. But let me. Do any of those, and again, without getting into the whole article, if you guys want to read it, go to CNN. You have the internet, obviously, because you listen to the show. Do any of these theories make any sense, though? Because as I read through these, they all come down to the idea of us compromising, or the Russians compromising, or both of us compromising.
And I don't just staying out of it.
And I don't know if you're going to get us or the Russians to compromise. Not in a way internationally that makes it appear like somebody compromised. You know what I mean? Like, you might be able to get us or the Russians to compromise if the rest of the world doesn't realize that they compromised. You know what I mean?
Right. Mm-hmm.
So, some way that makes them save face. But is there any way that either country, the U.S. or the Russians, do anything that makes it look like they gave an inch in this argument? Because I can't see that happening.
Well, to be honest with you, again, I think that the resolution is to allow Russia to annex the portion, not all of Crimea, but the part of Crimea where their base is. You see what I'm saying? Like, we have Alaska and Hawaii. They're not connected to this country. There's no reason Russia can't do the same thing. You follow me, right?
Well, yeah. No,
Okay.
I agree with that. I mean, it doesn't have to share to be within the borders, is what you're saying.
Right. And I just honestly, I think that's the only realistic. Listen, Putin wants that base. All right, I get that. He has every reason to keep that base. We have our base in Cuba, Guantanamo Bay.
Right.
Okay. I mean, who are we to criticize Putin for wanting to keep that property and keep his military strong? I understand that. I don't have a problem with that. I have a problem with them violating Ukraine's sovereignty, and that's about it.
So, essentially, you would leave Crimea the way it is and let them keep their military base and just leave it status quo would be the only thing that you would accept as standard.
By the way, many people don't know this, but the area or the region that we refer to as the Crimea, actually, there's 2 words in its title. Do you know what the second part of the region's title is?
River?
Yep.
Yeah, Crimea River. You're a witty guy.
It was a horrible joke. I'm not as good as you. Get off my back about it.
You need to work on that, though. You need to make your Facebook page much more entertaining.
Yeah, I get too serious on mine, don't I? It's horrible.
You do. Hey, I want to ask you a question. Let's switch gears really quick. Have you been following the issue with the missing airplane?
I have. Yeah, very sad.
Now, the latest news that came out is that 2 people boarded the plane with stolen passports, stolen European passports. One of the passports was stolen from 2 years ago, and it raises concerns over the risk of terrorism, obviously, because if there's 2 people on board with stolen passports, why do they have stolen passports and stolen passports from Europe at that? I mean, it's not like somebody stole a passport in where did it originate from?
Wisconsin.
No, it didn't originate from Wisconsin, dipwad.
No,
No,
my ass kicked in Wisconsin.
Did it originate in Thailand or
the flight?
Singapore? Singapore, right?
You talking about the flight? Where did it originate?
Yeah, or was it out of Malaysia?
No, it was out of Malaysia. It was a Malaysian air flight.
Heading to Singapore, right?
Yeah, and it disappeared somewhere over Vietnam.
Yeah, the latest thing is now they're talking about maybe it made a turn after it lost contact with the tower.
Right. And now there are theories coming out. Apparently, at the same time this plane disappeared, we do have reports that Jane Fonda was spotted back in Vietnam, and apparently her aim's gotten better. I don't know what that has to do with anything.
Oh,
I don't know
stop
the
it! You
meaning
can't
of
make a
it.
joke about this. That's not even funny.
Your
Your jokes are not even remotely funny.
Okay, I'm sorry.
But listen, 388 people are just up and missing. I mean, it's one thing if you knew they were dead, right?
Right.
The hardest issue out of this is, and there were 4 Americans on this flight. The hardest issue for this is just not knowing, because they haven't found a debris field. They've spotted a couple oil slicks, but nothing that is definitive that that's where the plane would have gone down.
Hold on, sorry, I'll get right back on air here. My headphones became unplugged. Hold on.
All right. But just to let listeners know that they found a couple of oil slicks, but nothing with any kind of debris that would be indicative of an airplane that went down. They just found some oil slicks, and even if the plane went down intact, it wouldn't stay intact when it hit the water, and you'd have something floating. And there's nothing. It's very reminiscent, I think, of that Air France flight that went down off the coast of Brazil a couple of years ago, where I don't know, Paul, did they ever come down with a reason for what happened to the Air France flight that went down off the coast of Brazil? Pablo? He froze too. Or did he freeze?
No, he's just not moving.
He's just very still.
He can't hear you. Remember, his headphones are gone.
I thought he said he was just going to fix it.
I don't know what he's doing.
Such a doofus, I swear to God. Anyway, I'll do some research during the top of the hour break. But I don't know if they ever came up with a result of this. The fact that there were 2 people on the plane with stolen passports, that tells me that there is something amiss with this flight. And you're flying out of what is essentially a third world country, which I'm not making judgments on third world people at all, but it is easier to...
Are you there, Kevin?
Yeah, can you hear me? Can you hear me?
St. Paul.
Hey, St. Paul, do you think Obama's a better president than Reagan? Say something if you don't agree. All right, then. Again,
it just gets better and better.
It's easier to bribe people in third world countries because, again, poverty is lower, so it's easier, it's probably more likely that you're going to find somebody you can pay off because times are harder. And you're coming out of a very Muslim, extremist-based country. Are you there, Paul?
I'm there. Okay, better.
Okay, so you're coming out of a very Muslim-based country, Malaysia, that has seen a lot of fundamentalist Muslim actions. You know, the Bali nightclub bombings, the Balis in Malaysia. It wouldn't.
By the way,
stretch.
before I forget, you asked the question about the aircraft, the Air France aircraft that disappeared after leaving Brazilian airspace. Yes, they do know what brought that aircraft down. It was a high power electrical strike from an electrical storm.
Oh, is that what it was?
Yes.
Okay. Well, that makes me feel a little bit better that it wasn't terrorism. Although, if a lightning strike can still take down a plane, then they might want.
Well, normally it
fix
can't.
That.
But there was a further issue with the aircraft and its fuel tanks.
Okay.
Is what happened there. So that was a complete fluke set of circumstances that brought that plane down. And apparently, at this point in time, Vietnamese Navy officials are reporting they have found some debris that could possibly be from that aircraft.
Okay, so where are you getting that story from? Because I haven't found anything that says that yet. Where are you finding that from?
Okay, hold on here. Now you're going to make me look it up again, and I just had it. Sorry about that.
You should always be prepared with your pages.
You know what, Princess?
I'm not a princess, but
Actually,
thanks for trying to call me that.
I've got something here too. Vietnam's Navy has spotted a floating object about 80 kilometers, which is 50 miles, southwest of Vietnam's To Chu Island, the country's southwest coast, in the Gulf of Thailand. Vietnam National Search and Rescue Committee spokesman told CNN, this is off of CNN.com, the object was spotted by the Vietnamese Navy rescue aircraft at about 7:30 in the morning on Sunday. Because of the dark, the Navy aircraft could not get close enough to identify the object and was recalled to base. 3 search and rescue boats have been deployed to the location. Thailand's Navy is reshifting its focus of the search away from the Gulf of Thailand and the South China Sea, according to the Navy Rear Admiral in charge of this search. The shift came at the request of the Malaysians.
You're sorry, right?
What's that?
I said Dez is sorry, right?
Yeah, Dez is sorry.
Sorry for what? What am I sorry for?
You should be prepared.
You should be prepared. I'm sorry. That's your job to be prepared.
I freaking read the I read the story. I just didn't have it in front of me. Kevin, keep your princess in line over there.
Wow.
I'd like to keep her in line. I got some things I'd like to show her.
He's gonna. Sorry, Dez. Love you.
Got some things I'd like to show her. All right, so Paul, what do you think? Listen, let me ask you a question.
Yeah,
how
go ahead.
safe do you think it is to travel internationally?
Fairly safe. Listen, the problems are so few and far between. I mean, you got to figure your odds of getting hit by a drunk driver in America are greater than, something going wrong on your trip overseas, right?
Yeah. How safe do you think it is to travel domestically?
Here in the United States?
Yeah.
Very safe.
More safe than internationally, obviously, correct?
Yes. Yeah, absolutely.
All right. I just bought tickets to go to Vegas, so
Did you?
That's why I'm asking you.
Oh, that's awesome, man. You're going to have a great time. When are you going to go?
End of May.
Cool.
End of May. End of April, sorry. End of April, beginning of May.
Yeah, right on.
Yeah. So I'll be back in time for the show, though. I'm not actually going to miss a show.
What's her name and what chapel are you getting married
I'm not
at?
getting married in Vegas, dude. Not getting married. I'm going to go take a mess of pictures, maybe take a day trip down to the Grand Canyon. Hey, by the way, you remember the Indian tribe down there that built that glass walkway out that goes out over the canyon?
Yeah.
You know how much they charge you to walk out on the walkway?
Dude, they would have to pay me to get me to walk out.
Do you know how much they charge for you to walk out on their glass walkway?
How much do they charge?
Let me tell you this first before I tell you how much they charge. You are not allowed to take a camera with you. You are not allowed to carry anything out there with you. Nothing. You can't take a cell phone. You can't take a camera, nothing, because their excuse is, we don't want anything to accidentally fall over the side down into the canyon. What the real answer is, we don't want you taking pictures so we can take pictures for you and sell them to you. But but whatever. So you can't take anything out there with you, not even your own camera. Okay?
Okay.
Guess how much they charge. Somebody just stifle me a guess.
$50.
You think
200.
50. Des, if you were this stupid in all of your decisions, we would have slept together already. $90.
That is ridiculous.
That is insane. That
figured it
people
was
are
gonna be an
actually
insane price.
and it's just to walk out there. I mean, there's nothing. It's not a roller coaster. There's not a bearded lady out there giving a blowjob to a midget. It's a glass walkway and it's cool. I would pay $25. I might pay $30. I would be hard pressed to justify $40. But $89 to walk out on the glass. Who's paying that?
Apparently, a lot of people.
That's insane.
I'd just be terrified in general because it's glass.
Can I just suggest that sounds a lot like the title of a country music song?
And what, the bearded lady giving a blowjob to a midget?
No, I paid $90 to walk on glass.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it's glass. It is clear though. It's
probably a type of tempered
fiberglass or something. Yeah,
but it's super clear. You can look right down from what I've read, and it looks like there's nothing underneath you. And because quite frankly, if I did that, I would either pee myself or puke. There's no way I could not physically handle the sensation of walking on air like that. There's no way.
Oh, it would be. I would love to do it, but I'm not going to pay $90 for it.
Now, what would be funny is setting up some video cameras to videotape me walking out there blindfolded and taking that damn blindfold off.
Oh, I would do that.
Oh my God,
I
that
would
would be
do that.
outstanding.
Yeah, that would definitely be worth it. And we could, if somebody was smart, they would set that up as a pay-per-view event.
We'd make $12.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Watch a Pollock flip out. Yeah. What's that? A scratch and sniff sticker?
Yeah, I'll just tell you that there is no way I'm paying $90 to walk on a glass tower over the Grand Canyon. I'm just not going to do it.
I live in a glass tower, I feel like sometimes, so I don't know. Hey, did you get a hold of my wife?
I did get a hold of your wife. Yeah, she wanted to know if we
fixed down there.
She wanted to know if we could cuddle later. That's all that was about.
So back to you got a hold
glass.
of her.
I got a hold of her. Yeah.
It's 4 layers of Saint Gobain.
So wait a minute.
Low iron glass.
If you ever decide you're going to kick my ass, then all I got to do is run out on a glass. I got to go out on that glass thing, and I'm safe.
I'll be like the scorpion with fire around it, like
that'll be outstanding. That'll be great. That'll be outstanding. There's a video of it too. Are you looking at it?
No, I've seen pictures of it though when they had built it. It was pretty impressive, to be honest with you. Pretty impressive.
They have a controversy of it.
So yeah, I'm gonna leave on a Tuesday night. I'm gonna fly down to Vegas on a Tuesday night, and I'll come back Saturday night.
Who's going with you?
I don't know. I'm going.
Just getting out of town on your own, man. That's cool. Right on.
Taking my camera.
It's nice that you have the
Yeah,
freedom.
that's a no.
Huh?
It's nice that you have the freedom to do that. Hey, we got a video camera you can borrow.
Not for the glass walkway. I can't.
No, but you could. I'm saying for your trip to Vegas, you can borrow the video camera.
I may take you up on that. I've been doing some research on some cool things to see down there. There's a couple things I definitely want to go see. They have a CSI experience I want to go do.
What?
Yeah, they got a CSI experience. They drop you in there somewhere and they make you solve a crime.
Oh, didn't they have a TV show for that too?
I don't know.
I believe they had a TV show where they picked like 5 people and they were in teams.
Yeah.
And one person they were actual murderers though.
You know what's funny
They
is if
threw
you
in
listen to Reverend Al Sharpton or the Reverend Jesse Jackson, and you look at the statistics from that Las Vegas CSI experience, 78% of the time it's a black man that's committed the crime.
On CSI?
On the CSI experience.
Oh, that's a no.
Really?
That's a no.
Yeah.
I'm not doing that.
Can you send that picture to Strip?
Yeah.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Send that picture to Strip.
I'm talking about
Strip.
CSI
See if you can bring this
numbers.
up really quick. Will you show it to
And
Paul?
all of a sudden, Princess over there is going, "Oh no, that's not real." You're saying send that picture to Strip? What?
No. This is a picture of the glass thing.
Oh, what did you think of that, Des?
That's a no. Like, look at that. That's a no.
I know, right?
No,
That
I
is
would
a
totally
no.
walk it. That would be so
No.
awesome. Send this to Paul. That would be so awesome to walk
look
over.
at
I
it,
just
dude.
can't imagine paying $90.
It creeps me out. There's literally.
Same.
You know what I would do if I
Did you
like
get the picture?
seriously? If I was blindfolded and somebody walked me out there onto that thing and took the blindfold off, you
I'd
know what
panic.
I would do?
I would have a panic attack.
I would literally, I would have a panic attack and I would flop down on all fours and not be able to move. I would be paralyzed.
I would too. I'd probably be crying too. It'd be a great feature. It really would. Everybody would love watching that.
Yeah, there's just no way.
It would be
Right
it
there
would
with
be
you, Des.
outstanding, man. It would be so awesome.
I'm
I'm terrified of heights, but
at me and pointing, I know. But that's
Oh.
okay. That's okay, brother.
I can do roller coasters.
I
can
can't
do
do
things
roller
like that. Like, I'm terrified of heights, but I can do airplanes. I can do roller coasters. That would never happen.
I can't do roller
even
coasters.
skydive. I will never skydive.
I can't do roller coasters, but only because it reminds me of sex with my ex-wife. All right,
Oh.
You have the picture? Is it up? Is it? Yeah. Paul, do you see the picture?
Not yet, because I'm on the delay, bud.
Oh, okay. Let me know when you see it.
Probably about.
Well, I
4
sent you a
or 5
different
minutes.
picture, so the picture you see is different from the one that's showing.
No, Strip put one up on the site.
I know. That's what I'm telling Paul right now, that I sent him a different one. So the one that he just got is a different one.
That would be
where
a
did
cool,
you
that'd
send
be
me
a
a
cool
picture
look right
to?
there. No, it's on the stream.
Yeah, I'm not seeing anything on the screen.
Oh, you're a douche. All right, well,
Thanks, I appreciate
Wait,
that.
she has a camera. They have a camera
she
too.
snuck it on. You're not supposed to take it
He
on.
is. That's a camera.
Yeah, you're not
It's
supposed
not
to
a
take
tiny
them on.
camera. That's a big
You're not
ass
supposed
camera.
to take them on. I saw the site for it today. All right, so we got to go to the top of the hour news. When we come back, we'll actually get into some topics in the 9 o'clock hour. Trojo should be in studio shortly, I
Hey,
believe.
that dude in the picture has a camera out on that thing.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I'm just telling you what the website said.
He's
no
probably
cameras.
Native American. They're prejudiced against white people.
Ooh, I'm native.
No cameras.
I'm good.
Alrighty, we'll take a break. When we come back, what are we talking about next, Paul?
Religion.
No, that's fourth hour.
That's the fourth hour.
I thought we were talking about this hour. Well,
No, we're going to talk about radiation, Fukushima, and the west coast of the United States.
You know there is no radiation out there, right?
Actually, yeah.
There is no radiation.
Caleb's like, actually, you're irradiated when you come to my house.
That's cool. Never mind. We'll talk about it after the break.
All right, we're out. Top of the hour news is next with who does our news?
NPR.
NPR Radio News, Outlaw Radio Network on EdgeMediaSource.com.
Wow, I beat him.
Get outlawed.
From NPR News in Washington, I'm Jim Hawk. Interpol says at least 2 stolen passports were used by passengers on a missing Malaysian Airlines flight. And NPR's Eleanor Beardsley reports officials still haven't located the plane.
The flight disappeared Saturday morning local time after taking off from Kuala Lumpur to Beijing. An Austrian and an Italian passport stolen in Thailand in 2012 and 13 were used by 2 passengers on the flight. The Lyon, France-based international police organization says too few countries are checking to make sure persons possessing stolen passports are not boarding international flights. Interpol is checking all the passports on the Malaysian Airlines flight. Interpol said last year alone, passengers were able to board planes more than 1 billion times without having their passports screened against its database. The Interpol database was created after the September 11, 2001 terrorist attacks. Since then, it has grown from a few thousand passports to more than 40 million entries. Eleanor Beardsley, NPR News, Paris.
Germany's chancellor is expressing regrets that no progress has been made on finding a political solution to the crisis in Ukraine. As Esme Nicholson reports from Berlin, Angela Merkel is sharpening her tone with Russia's President Vladimir Putin.
In a telephone conversation, Angela Merkel warned the Russian president that the planned referendum on Crimean secession to Russia violates Ukraine's constitution and breaches international law. The German chancellor maintains that the only way to solve the crisis in Ukraine is via diplomacy and has been reluctant to impose sanctions on Russia. Nonetheless, she has warned of travel restrictions to the EU and the freezing of Russian assets should no progress be made. In a written statement issued by the Kremlin, President Putin again insisted steps taken by Crimea's authorities are wholly legitimate. For NPR News, I'm Esme Nicholson in Berlin.
President Obama is back in Washington after a family vacation in Florida. He'll host Ukrainian Prime Minister Arseniy Yatsenyuk at the White House on Wednesday. The meeting is intended to demonstrate U.S. support for the new government in Kiev. Gasoline prices are up a dime in the past 2 weeks. Oil analyst Trilby Lundberg says the arrival of spring later this month means prices will likely keep on climbing.
Our demand for gasoline builds from here seasonally, as it always does. And in April and May, we will see higher costs coming from refiners' costs to lower vapor pressure to prevent summer smog.
Lundberg says another factor in the recent price rise is the unrest in Ukraine, which exports corn used to produce the gasoline additive ethanol. The last surviving grandchild of automotive pioneer Henry Ford has died. William Clay Ford was also the longtime owner of the Detroit Lions. Ford Motor Company says he died of pneumonia at his home in Grosse Pointe, Michigan. Ford helped steer the family business for more than 5 decades. He was 88. This is NPR News. Researchers say an experimental blood test may reveal which people will soon develop Alzheimer's. NPR's John Hamilton reports on a study in the journal Nature Medicine.
The test measures levels of 10 different lipids or fats found in the blood. Scientists showed that when levels of all of these lipids are low, a person 70 or older has more than a 90% chance of developing Alzheimer's or related memory problems in the next 2 to 3 years. Howard Federoff of Georgetown University says the test would be much simpler than current approaches, which require a spinal tap or brain scan.
From the patient perspective, it would be a routine phlebotomy, just as you would go to have your cholesterol or anything else checked.
But there is still no way to prevent or stop Alzheimer's, so if the test becomes widely available, seniors will have to decide whether they really want to know their risk of developing the disease. John Hamilton, NPR News.
The Department of Energy says new testing in the nation's only underground nuclear repository shows no detectable radioactive contamination from a leak last month. However, DOE officials say 4 more workers at the waste isolation pilot plant near Carlsbad, New Mexico, have tested positive for low levels of contamination, adding to the 13 tested right after the leak. The action film 300 Rise of an Empire has opened at the top of the box office 7 years after the original 300 became an unlikely sensation. The sequel edged out the weekend's other new wide release, Mr. Peabody and Sherman, which came in second. The thriller Non-Stop slid to third place. The Lego Movie was fourth, followed by Son of God and The Monuments Men. I'm Jim Hawk, NPR News in Washington.
The Yacht Club Broiler is Silverdale's premier dining establishment and has been for over 20 years. Come experience the Yacht Club Broiler's famous happy hour with a casual and friendly atmosphere. Free Wi-Fi service is now available. The Yacht Club Broiler is open 7 days a week for lunch and dinner at 9226 Bayshore Drive in Silverdale. The Yacht Club Broiler, Silverdale's premier dining establishment.
Hey, sports fans, have you ever wished there was a live and local all-sports broadcasting network, but wish no more? It's ISPNSports.com. Kitsap's only live and local all-sports 24-hour broadcasting network, featuring the Kitsap Blue Jackets, Olympic College Rangers, high school athletics, and the ISPN Sports Show every Saturday morning from 10 to noon with interviews from exclusive guests from around the Sound. So, you want sports? Go to ISPNSports.com.
Coinforce.com is your headquarters for superior quality challenge coins, proudly serving military and non-military customers worldwide. Located near the main gate of McCord Air Force Base and close to Fort Lewis, Coinforce.com is owned and operated by retired military veterans. Coinforce.com understands your needs and are proud to continue serving the military community in our own special way. For an undisputed best value, extreme quality, and superior customer service, when you're looking for the world's largest selection of challenge coins, visit Coinforce.com, owned and operated by retired military veterans.
Located 3520 Kitsap Way in Bremerton, Arnold's Home Furnishing has been serving the Kitsap County community since 1951. For nearly 60 years, Arnold's has been here taking care of its customers with excellent customer service and quality merchandise you'll find nowhere else. And visit arnoldshomefurnishing.com to view all the merchandise available and see their current promotions. Arnold's Home Furnishing, to fit every lifestyle and budget.
The government has deliberately sought to deceive the United States by false statements and expressions of hope for continued peace.
You're listening to the Outlaw Radio Network. OutlawRadioNetwork.com.
This country can't be knocked out with one punch. We get right back up again, and when we do, the world's going to hear the roar of our engines.
I can't whistle, man. Hey, Paul, one of the people listening to the show tonight wants to know if we're going to vote Desi off the island, and then promptly commented again and said we shouldn't because they think that she can probably put me in my place if need be.
Fair. That's fair.
I don't think she can.
And I think they said she had a nice, soft voice.
Yeah.
And she was cute.
Yeah. Here's what it says.
Is your sister watching the show again?
Nah, Ted says, this is so much better than any of the reality shows. Are you guys going to vote Desi off the island? And
funny.
And then it says, no, keep Desi. And remember, she isn't your princess or anyone else's. She is kind of cute. We'll get back to the kind of in a minute. She has a very soft voice. He can probably put you in your place if needed. I'm not really sure what kind of cute means.
I don't either.
It's like
I don't know if I should take offense to that slightly or not.
Are we dating? Are we kind of dating? It's just stuff like that.
It kind of sounds like that elementary school. Well, you're cute, but I don't like girls yet.
Yeah,
I have cooties.
You're kind of cute. It's not you. It's me. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Do you like me? Check yes or no. That song makes me want to punch George straight in the face.
Why? I like that song. I do. But that's because I'm a girl, right?
Because you're 12. All right.
Okay, you know what? Go F yourself.
All right.
I only know that song because my dad listens to that song. That doesn't help because it makes my dad sound gay, but still.
Do you want to be my friend? Shut up, man.
Great
God.
song. That is a great
If
song.
I ever see George Strait, I'm going to smack him in the face with a 2x4 just because of that song.
And nobody will be bailing you out of jail.
I still hear news playing in the background. Anybody else hear that?
No.
Is your stream?
Yeah, it's probably on one of the pages that I have open. So it's
Yeah,
okay. It's not.
yeah.
That's why I was asking.
My question is, why would I be voted off the island?
I
That's
don't have
my
an
question.
idea.
That's what I want to know.
Because
Ted.
this is a man show. I mean, you have to remember, you've only been... How long have you been doing this show
I
with
have
us,
the
Des?
boobs, okay? I shouldn't have to be
Yes, but
voted
how
off
long-
of the thing.
How long have you been... But you're not showing them. How long have you been doing this show with us?
A few months.
4 or 5 months, give or take, probably?
Probably.
Give or take, maybe a little more?
Maybe a little more.
Maybe 6?
Hey,
Maybe.
real quick. St. Paul, do you hear that kind of
feedback?
Yeah.
That's what I'm looking for. I'm assuming that it's coming from one of my pages, like maybe it has some sort of ad running on it or something. So
Yeah,
I'm looking for it.
Turn your volume down, too. Yeah, turn your volume down on your end, or make
My
sure you
volume
wear your
is down.
headphones, Yeah.
Oh, you know, we had this problem with him. Was it last week? And I think it was fixed by him just calling right back.
Yeah, Paul, why don't you hang up and call right back?
Okay, listen, before I do that, I sent over, Kevin, I forwarded you a video, an ABC video on the Fukushima radiation. If you find that, I was looking to forward it to Caleb, but his name wasn't popping up on my
That's why you search him.
That's because he's
You send it
in
to him.
hiding.
Really, I'm online like all the time.
I'll
so-
send it to you right now, Strip. It's okay.
They have like a little search bar now in the chat thing, so all I have to do is type your name in, Caleb, and then I just send it that way.
It's okay. I'm going to send it over to him now. It's okay. I got it. All right. So it's Caleb. It's on its way over to you now. And Paul, go ahead and hang up and call right back, and we'll get into this.
He just did. But I'm not sure if that fixed
I
it this
think
time.
this is Fukuyama.
Sounded like you said something completely different.
Sorry. I don't know what the hell I'm doing now. I got George Strait and radiation stuck in my head. I'm not even sure how they
Just
go
create
together.
a song right now.
I got it, another country song.
Sing it, come on.
I don't have any idea, man. I don't know.
Just something.
Get radiation. Yeah.
Ate some fish and sharded. I don't know, dude.
Sharded? Oh my god, did you guys think Bad Grandpa? That is my favorite scene ever. That's when he shards in the dining. Oh my god, it's so great. Okay.
All right, Paul?
Yes.
Yeah, we're still getting it. Did you hang up and call back already? That was quick.
Yeah.
Skype is so fast. I love
He's so
Skype.
used to being quick.
Hey, by the way, phone lines are open at 253-617-1440. Or
Yeah, let
if
me
you
see
really
this
want to get through
one.
this right away, call 911. What, Paul?
Does that work? Is that better?
I think so. What'd you do?
No.
Nope, it didn't do it.
Nope, didn't do it.
Yeah. Can you be in studio
Do
next
you
week,
have
please?
do you have the live feed of like right now of the show playing because it automatically plays?
Yeah, I know it does.
Do you have it paused?
Yeah, take our show off. If you've got it going, take our show off.
Because it sounds like I'm hearing like me and you talking
I
every
think
time
so.
back.
I think so, yeah.
It's off, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's...
Oh, reboot your computer, Paul.
Hey.
Christ.
Reboot your computer.
I'll tell you what, real quick, Paul.
Yeah.
Are you guys ready for this video?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, I will tell you what. Give me 1 second here. I've got it ready.
All right.
So... shit.
Is that the aliens trying to talk to us?
It is.
Or is it maybe that's somebody from Ukraine trying to call in?
Okay.
Let me tell you what's happening.
I've got the video ready. All right. So St. Paul, why don't you
That's pretty
mute your mic on your end while I play this video?
Okay.
And we'll see if the sound goes, if that issue goes away.
All right. Go ahead. Oh, so background really quick. This is a report from who, Paul? ABC News?
Yes, ABC News.
About the effects of the radiation from Fukushima. Now, if you don't know what Fukushima is, again, that was when the tsunami hit Japan and the Fukushima nuclear reactor and the meltdown.
If you
and the
don't
whole
know
thing.
what Fukushima is, you should probably look it up on your Obama phone.
Shut your mouth. Here's a report from ABC News on Outlaw Radio Network. And maybe we'll restart it with it not muted.
Cecilia Vega, who recently returned from Fukushima, has the new forecast tonight.
In just a matter of weeks, scientists say radiation from Japan's nuclear meltdown will make its way to American shores. Trace amounts of radioactive material from the crippled Fukushima Daiichi power plant have already landed in Canada's Gulf of Alaska area. Now, new models show it will hit north of Seattle by next month and then move down the west coast. But oceanographer and radiation expert Ken Bessler says the Pacific's strong currents dilute radiation to levels so low, when they arrive, they will not pose a threat to people or the environment.
For Americans to worry about swimming on our beaches, I think is overblown.
Last year, I met up with his team in Japan as they studied Fukushima's fallout.
You really feel like what happened at Fukushima is the Chernobyl of the ocean.
In fact, a bigger event for the ocean. It's unprecedented.
We went to see for ourselves, suiting up.
So you've got to keep this on in order to not breathe the radiation particles.
And heading inside Fukushima's ground zero. Scientists say radiation they discovered last fall in the waters just outside the plant is within the legal limits for swimming and drinking, but still 1,000 times higher than before the meltdown. This invisible enemy may soon hit close to home, but experts say there is nothing to fear. Cecilia Vega, ABC News, Los Angeles.
All right, so
there's a very good reason why I wanted to play that.
Yeah, I was going to ask, because it sounds like everything's hunky-dory. Let's go swim in the ocean.
Yeah, okay, you ready for this?
Yeah, well, tell me.
Okay, there was one key word there that the first scientist used, and that word, kids, is think.
Why would there
Here's
be kids
why that word is
listening to
important. Because these are the same people who think it was safe to build that nuclear reactor in Fukushima on a major fault line on the water at sea level. Okay? These are the same people, by the way, the experts.
Hold on, but let's be clear, and I'm not disputing what you're saying, and I see where you're going, and I agree with you. But let's just be clear: he didn't have anything to do with building the reactor or any of that.
I'm talking about nuclear scientists.
Okay, fair enough. Go ahead.
Okay? The next part of the they equation is that they have only been experts for a little over 50 years. You follow?
Yeah.
In other words, we really actually don't know anything about what the long-term consequences are going to be to this, let alone, in reality, the short-term consequences. So, and I've spoke to enough people now, I've interviewed enough people, I've talked to enough people where I've gotten one end of the spectrum to the other. To the, my God, we need to be worried about our hair falling out, we better start drinking iodine or taking iodine pills, to the, you don't have anything to worry about and you're an idiot if you think this poses any threat whatsoever. To me, the truth lies somewhere in the middle, especially after talking to experts. We spoke to the mayor about this at one point last year, about the monitoring that she stays in contact with the Navy over them doing. Remember, there are no radiation monitoring stations on the beaches around Washington State. There are radiation monitoring centers that measure radiation in the wind, in the air. Okay, but that's not our big problem right now. Okay, there's high levels of radiation in cesium-137 showing up in the tuna off the coast of Washington. Okay, we don't know what the long-term effects, for example, of eating this tuna fish will have. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yes.
And this is what the people who bear the most weight to me are the people who aren't trying to convince you one way or another. They're simply saying, listen, as a scientist, okay, we don't know. If you're, as a scientist, if you're going to come out and say, I'm a nuclear scientist and I'm telling you we don't have anything to worry about, blah, 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 then I'm going to say, well, you got a dog in this fight. You're a nuclear scientist. You're defending your industry. It's exactly what I would expect from you. If you come out and say you're a tree-hugging environmentalist, then you have a dog in this fight, and you're going to try to make it sound as bad as humanly possible because you never want a nuclear power plant built. Okay? This is why vetting sources is so important. This is why I wanted to play that video. Because I felt that it accurately demonstrated only one side of the equation, and that was you had a reporter talking to the experts. And what did they do? They laid it out for you that the radiation is about to hit the west coast of the United States, right? Now, if it's truly no problem, and they truly believe that it is never going to be an issue, why are you running the story?
What?
You're running the story because you're trying to belay people's fears. You're trying to make people not worry about it. And I understand that. I understand not wanting people to be upset, panic, or anything else over the radiation fears, because once that radiation starts hitting the shores, people are going to figure it out. Okay, because there are different stations along the coast. There are people that have Geiger counters sitting at their houses. We've seen those videos coming out from California where people are going down to the beach and taking radiation measurements with their own Geiger counters. So it would eventually come out. You have to beat the public to the punch, so to speak. Do you see what I'm saying?
Right.
You can't wait for the public to find out, because then the public's going to say, why didn't you, the media, or the government let us know? But by doing it this way, they're letting us know, and they're belaying and quelling any fears, right?
Except, real quick, any logical person would realize that, radiation in general is not good for you. I mean...
Can we put the amount of radiation in perspective, though? How does the amount of radiation coming from Fukushima compare to the bomb dropped on Hiroshima or Nagasaki?
Sure, Kevin, that's a great question, which is part of what makes the Japanese experts on radiation. That was a joke. Sorry, it was in poor taste.
Not a good joke. Although I am the one who said we should bomb them every 50 years just to remind them who's in charge. But go ahead.
Yeah.
Oh.
So
I did say that, yes.
Here's the point. Listen, what's the difference? Well, one came with a blinding white flash of light. The other did.
No. What I mean is, as far as amount, or as far as potency, or amount of radiation being entered into the ecology. Because if is it comparable? Are we looking at a whole lot more coming from Fukushima because it was a reactor, or how does that?
You're looking at so much more radiation coming out of Fukushima over the long term. The last number I saw was something like 40 billion times as much radiation is sitting there in the Fukushima plant as the one bomb that was dropped on Hiroshima.
Okay.
40 billion times as much. Okay. Right now, a lot of that is contained because they keep pumping water onto it. You see, that water keeps it from overheating. As soon as those rods overheat and those rods hit air, then all hell breaks loose. Forget it. Japan itself would cease to exist if that happens. And they've made no secret of that. Everybody understands that once those rods, which are spent nuclear fuel, once those spent fuel rods are exposed to air, the chain reaction begins.
And then what happens? I mean, does it
then
explosion or what happens?
So much radiation gets. The thing with those rods is you got to think of a chemical reaction. The rods cannot be exposed to air. Once they are exposed to oxygen, they begin to literally break down and turn into steam. And that steam then spews out of there. The explosion you saw right after the tsunami was as a result of some of those rods being exposed to air. Okay? So once the water no longer covers those rods, they begin to break down and release massive levels of radiation into the atmosphere. If that radiation gets released into the atmosphere, again, Japan, Hawaii, every island between the West Coast and Japan is going to become uninhabitable.
Let me try to put that in comparison.
And that's a good case scenario.
Well, look,
worst case is the entire West Coast of the United States along with it.
Your cell phone puts radiation off.
Yeah.
Right?
I'm pretty sure you can attest to that.
Did you know that the World Health Organization actually just declared that as a possible carcinogenic?
Yes.
For cancer?
Cell phones?
Huh?
Cell phones?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. Along with tumors and stuff like that, they've been finding that, hey, people are actually getting sick from these things.
No.
So, yeah, it's not necessarily how much is coming, it's how often you're going to be exposed to it. I mean,
and everybody's different. Everybody can take different amounts.
Yeah, that is the other key thing. Because, for instance, a child. So, over in I think it was like Sweden or something like that, they banned cell phone companies from advertising to small kids. You know, kids under the age of I think like 14 or something like that, because a child's brain is still developing, the skull's still growing, everything like that. They're much more susceptible to that radiation. Mm-hmm. So when you say, well, what are we comparing it to? What are those levels? I don't know. Paul, do you know those levels?
Yeah, there's a lot of data there. I could pull it up in a few minutes. Caleb is spot on about this, and again, this is why it's so important. And we've learned a lot dealing with Caleb and his illness. Just dealing with Caleb.
Thanks.
Wow.
Anyway, all joking aside, again, we've learned a lot dealing with Caleb and what's going on there. And what it's taught us is that everybody's level of resistance is different. The amount of radiation and the types of radiation that individuals can take, it's different for everybody. And some people can take more, some people can take less. The key here is the cumulative effect over time. That's the big issue. Because what your body can't take is high levels of radiation over time. Okay? Because radiation breaks down your cells at their core level. So you may not notice the effects for a year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years. Okay? There were a lot of people that didn't die of radiation sickness after Hiroshima and Nagasaki for 40 years.
Right.
Okay? So, and anybody who tries to tell you that they are an expert in this is a goddamn liar, and I can say that with my head held high because nobody's ever had to deal with this before.
Is there anything to draw from Chernobyl in this, or is Chernobyl a completely different animal because
not the Russians, therefore we think the technology's better.
Well, no, but what I mean is the after effects of the meltdown, or is this completely different because Chernobyl was primarily landlocked, and what we're seeing out of Fukushima is more water based?
That's part of it, but you got to remember the radiation cloud from Chernobyl circled the world several times for years. So, and they found radiation in a belt all the way around the world from Chernobyl.
Hey, are you using the what are you using for a microphone?
My computer.
Where's your headset?
I took it off because I wasn't getting. I was getting a lot of interference.
Mm.
I think I'm just going to go get a new headset.
Or be in studio next week.
Can do that too.
Score, give me 5.
No, it's
Self high five.
You sound choppy. You're not your data rates, or not your bandwidth, but you're spiking. You sound like you're spiking on the audio levels.
Oh, I do. Okay.
Yeah.
I would be here's what I'd be curious about.
ADD kicking in because I'm sitting here rocking into the microphone and back and forth.
Here's what I would be curious about, Paul. And I know it's not going to be exactly the same, and I know that the ground tends to filter. So as you would get further and further away from Chernobyl, you would have some diminished effect of radiation because
this is also, you got to remember too, the Fukushima blast. Chernobyl was one reactor that melted down. Fukushima has 4.
No, fair enough. But I mean, I'm just curious in regards to the groundwater.
Yeah,
I would be curious as you get in the areas outside of Chernobyl, what you see in the groundwater and the water tables in relation to radiation.
I give you some good examples. There's a river and a lake that flow past Chernobyl.
Right.
Okay. The largest catfish in the world now live there. Didn't live there before, mind you, but they live there now because they've been directly impacted and mutated as a result of the radiation.
So, real quick, Paul, I'm going to pull this up for K-Dog to see and for all the listeners to see.
Good. Okay.
Kevin?
Yes.
Hopefully you can see that.
I can see that. Is that on the screen for the listeners as well?
Yes. Yeah. So what this basically is a representation from a study that they did. And if you look, the far one on the right is a 5-year-old being exposed. This is just cell phone radiation. The middle one is of a 10-year-old, and the one to the far left is of an adult.
And what is it? What are we seeing a picture of?
Their brain, their head.
Okay, and what are the multicolored areas?
That's radiation
exposure.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's how far. I mean, if you look at the 5-year-old's head, I mean that's 75, 80%.
Yeah, easily.
That's a lot.
And a lot of that has to do with the thickness of the skull, because the thickness of the skull provides shielding. Right, Caleb? If I understood the
that
research.
Is correct. That is correct. It's I mean, I'll tell you, when you go to the doctors and you go for radiation, there's a reason why they do direct radiation. It's so they don't damage the rest of your body when they're doing it.
Right.
So, yeah.
Okay. No, I don't listen. I don't doubt you at all when it comes to the whole question of radiation and cell phones. I mean, all that makes perfect sense to me.
Well, you're just asking for something in comparison, just to kind of give a real grasp on, hey, like this is what radiation can really do, even in small doses. I mean, you just use your cell phone, talking on it for a couple hours a day. You know, they consider a cell phone, even a cordless phone, to be within safe levels.
Right.
Okay. But it just goes to show, if you're just exposed to it long enough and you use it long enough, you know, you run that risk.
Yeah. Hey, Paul, if you ever get a chance, go to Google Earth and look for Chernobyl.
Yeah, I use Google Earth a lot right now.
The resolutions on the picture to go look at the Chernobyl site's ungodly. Yeah, it's just flat and barren now. I mean, the location where the reactors were is just flat and pasty now. But just the resolution with Google Earth to go look at it's pretty phenomenal. So
I don't know. They had this horror movie come out called The Chernobyl Diaries, and really kind of freaked me out.
Yeah, would you go there?
Yes.
Where? Would you go to Chernobyl?
Yes.
Des would. Paul, would you?
It's at this point it is they say relatively safe for a short period of time, as in a few hours. But you know,
well, who knows?
That's that theory. Hey, listen, when we come back, I want to cut a very special commercial live on air.
All right, stay tuned. Outlaw Radio Network. We're back after this.
Get outlawed.
The Yacht Club Broiler is Silverdale's premier dining establishment and has been for over 20 years. Come experience the Yacht Club Broiler's famous happy hour with a casual and friendly atmosphere. Free Wi-Fi service is now available. The Yacht Club Broiler is open 7 days a week for lunch and dinner at 9226 Bayshore Drive in Silverdale. The Yacht Club Broiler, Silverdale's premier dining establishment.
Hey, sports fans, have you ever wished there was a live and local all-sports broadcasting network, but wish no more? It's ISBNsports.com, Kitsap's only live and local all-sports 24-hour broadcasting network, featuring the Kitsap Blue Jackets, the Olympic College Rangers, high school athletics, and the ISBN Sports Show every Saturday morning from 10 to noon with interviews from exclusive guests from around the Sound. So, you want sports? Go to ISBNsports.com.
Coinforce.com is your headquarters for superior quality challenge coins, proudly serving military and non-military customers worldwide. Located near the main gate of McCord Air Force Base and close to Fort Lewis, Coinforce.com is owned and operated by retired military veterans. Coinforce.com understands your needs and are proud to continue serving the military community in our own special way. For an undisputed best value, extreme quality, and superior customer service, when you're looking for the world's largest selection of challenge coins, visit Coinforce.com, owned and operated by retired military veterans.
Located 3520 Kitsap Way in Bremerton, Arnold's Home Furnishing has been serving the Kitsap County community since 1951. For nearly 60 years, Arnold's has been here taking care of its customers with excellent customer service and quality merchandise you'll find nowhere else. And visit arnoldshomefurnishing.com to view all the merchandise available and see their current promotions. Arnold's Home Furnishing, to fit every lifestyle and budget.
Brothers Power Sports has been a locally owned family business in Bremerton since 1949. From new and pre-owned motorcycles, ATVs, scooters, boats, and watercraft to parts and service and apparel. Brothers Power Sports is committed to being your source for all your motorsports needs, and they're a proud sponsor of the Habitat for Humanity of Kitsap County. Brothers Power Sports, 5205 First Street in Bremerton, and online at brotherspowersports.com. Stop in and feel the difference at Brothers Power Sports in Bremerton.
As Kitsap County's largest maintenance provider, Team Innovative in Paulsbo provides commercial and residential maintenance to hundreds of millions of dollars of local real estate. With services including parking lot maintenance and street cleaning to landscape and design, Team Innovative is committed to using a green approach and following a strong environmental conscience. Team Innovative Services, 697-6858, or visit them online at getinnovative.net. Team Innovative Services, get serious, get innovative.
Every time our country stands in the path of danger, an instinct seems to summon her finest first.
For he is truly his brother's keeper. Let us fight for a new world!
There's two kinds of people in this world when you boil it all down. You got your talkers and you got your doers. Most people are just talkers. So which one are you? Do you just talk about it? Or do you stand up and do something about it?
It's always the patriots who first hear the call. For everyone within the sound of my voice, from my cold, dead hand.
You're listening to the Outlaw Radio Network. OutlawRadioNetwork.com.
All right, so this is uber trippy, by the way. While we were on hold, I found a Google Street View picture. It looks like about a quarter mile from the Ferris wheel.
Hey, real quick, Paul.
It's just a shot, a Google Street View shot, but there's no Google Street View normally goes to it and from it and all that. There's no to and from. It's just a Google Street View shot in an abandoned Chernobyl. It's outstanding.
Can you kill your video?
Kill my video?
Yeah.
See, we're going to see if it helps your audio issue.
Okay, it's killed.
No, it's not. No, the video of you on Skype.
Oh, sure. Hold on a second.
That's all. 'Cause I just want to see if that helps, because,
Okay, how's that?
We'll find out in a second.
No, it didn't help at all.
Weird.
What is that all about?
I don't know.
We know it's his feed, though. You've got some kind of interference or something. That's interesting. All right.
No, you know what?
Because I've got a fan plugged into my computer. I tried turning it off, and you said it didn't help. So.
Well, no, it's not that. It's a digital distortion.
Yeah.
Distortion, huh?
Yeah. We talk and we can hear ourselves a little bits.
Yeah, that's weird. All right. 253-617-1440 in the last half hour of this show. Coming up in about 23 minutes or so, we'll kick off the last call, which is the 1-hour adult version of the Outlaw Radio Network. It basically is the Outlaw Radio Network even better, where we get to talk about the adult topics, and you get to use bad words on the air, and you get to say whatever you want to, and everything is wide open for discussion. You get to say exactly what you want, and anything is fair game. So just keep that in mind. That's up here in about 22 minutes or so.
So let me cut my commercial. I've been waiting to do this for 2 weeks, and I thought that this would be an apropos time. We have a minute, so I just need you guys to be quiet here for just a second, and I want the listeners to kind of just kick back, relax, and enjoy this. It's going to be about 15 or 20 seconds. All right, are you ready for this one, Kevin?
I'm not sure if I'm ready, but go ahead. I trust you.
Don't laugh. Yeah, you can trust me. If you can't trust me, who can you trust?
Barack Obama.
Everybody else.
Barack Obama.
All right, you ready? Okay. Shh.
Barack Hussein Obama. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
I hate you. All right. Public service announcement. The radiation currently about to hit the west coast of the United States is within safe levels. Again, this is a public service announcement. Brought to you by the government. The same people that brought you the Gulf of Tonkin incident, Bay of Pigs, Agent Orange, asbestos, and let's not forget weapons of mass destruction. Again, the radiation about to hit the west coast of the United States is safe. There, see? That was easy. Now I get to pull that out, add some really dramatic music, and have some fun with it.
Hey, Paul.
What?
Your severe distrust of the government is not rooted in anything factual.
Right. Wait, because the stuff I just listed wasn't factual.
So, let me ask you a question.
I want to make sure we're clear on this. Wait. So the Gulf of Tonkin incident didn't happen, right?
So is anybody leading the government?
Hold on.
Let me answer your question. Is anybody leading the government now in any way remotely involved with the government that was leading, with the people that was leading the government during the 60s when the Gulf of Tonkin incident happened? Or have they all moved on to bigger and better, greener pastures?
He said greener pastures? I don't know. What difference does it make?
That would be like saying, Paul, you're a Templar, and the Templars used to kill innocent people, which I don't know if they did or not, but let's pretend that they did. So by default, because you're a Templar, you are evil like they were. Or let's do it this way: you're a white guy, and since white guys used to own slaves, you're as bad as they. No, I'm just saying you can't draw a lateral conclusion because the government. No, you can't. It's not the same thing. I'm not saying the government's innocent at all.
Well, then what are you trying to say?
I'm saying that using things like the Gulf of Tonkin as a justification why the government's lying to you now is moot. It makes you look uneducated.
Again, typical progressive liberal.
Oh,
attitude.
here we go with the the liberal bull crap defense.
You are literally you're trying to ignore the facts of what I said, and you're trying to throw your own argument in there to try to turn people off and make them think somehow I'm stupid. Listen, the Gulf of Tonkin incident happened. Okay. The Bay of Pigs incident, it happened.
It did, you're right.
Agent Orange made men sick. People that are still getting sick today. People that are still suffering the consequences today. And you know what? You asked me if the people that were running the government that did this stuff are still running it today. Well, let me tell you something. The people that are still running the government today still don't put a lot of symptoms of Agent Orange on their goddamn list to be covered. So don't tell me that there's these same people aren't still out there pulling the same bullshit, because they absolutely are. Okay?
Nobody.
And as I stated, the last thing that I stated, weapons of mass destruction.
Oh, I know. Weapons of mass destruction is fine. I agree with that. But the rest of it, Agent Orange and Bay of Pigs and the Gulf of Tonkin, listen, that's 50 years ago.
No, it weren't.
Yes, it was.
And
Bay of Pigs was in 1962. This is 2014. That's 52 years ago.
Don't chicken shit nitpick parts out of this and say, well, you can't use any of that, and your argument doesn't make any sense because the Gulf of Tonkin happened a long time ago. I also brought up the Bay of Pigs, Agent Orange, asbestos. By the way, guess who was a major shareholder and company vice president of the company that produced asbestos?
Dick Cheney?
Dick fucking Cheney. All right? So you want to know if they're still alive, still running the government? You're goddamn right they are. Okay?
Fair enough. All right. I'm just asking questions.
You asked a question and you posed it like I was the freaking idiot.
No, I'm just asking questions.
No, you didn't ask the question. You were accusatory.
No, all I'm saying is that to argue what's happening today and to tie it with what happened 50 years ago isn't valid. You're
Kevin,
right.
I am tying it with what happened 50 years ago, 40 years ago, 30 years ago, 20 years ago, 10 years ago.
But the argument that the government is inherently evil is not 100% accurate either.
I don't believe I used the word evil, did I?
No, but it's how the right portrays them. That all things government is inherently evil.
The right and the left portray the government as evil. It depends on your perspective. And I never used the word evil.
No, I never said you did.
The whole point of it is, don't believe everything the government or government lackeys or people that are put out there by the government, i.e. certain government scientists that are on the government dole, don't believe what they have to tell you. Do your own research, because, again, these are the same people who brought you these things that are complete bunk. The Gulf of Tonkin that got us into Vietnam. The Bay of Pigs, which almost started a war against the Russians in Cuba. Okay? Agent Orange, which poisoned tens of thousands of American servicemen.
Mm-hmm.
Asbestos, which has sickened hundreds of thousands of Americans. Okay?
And was responsible for the death of my grandfather.
And we don't even have to get into how many men and women are now wounded or citizens are now dead because of the argument about weapons of mass destruction. So, listen, I'd like to say that I understand where you were coming from, but that was such a bunk way to pull that out and try to make an argument about that, Kevin, because everything that I said right there was factually correct.
Okay, but let me phrase it this way then. Maybe this will make more sense.
Okay, go ahead.
Every time the government says anything, the response predominantly, I'm not going to say from you, but from the right, the response is, oh, here come the government again. And here's all the litany of the things the government has done wrong and the things the government has been less than honest about. And I don't dispute any of those things. I'm not. But we've either been lulled as a society into this group of either a whole bunch of libs that believe everything the government says, and we're going to believe global warming. We're going to believe the need for social programs. We're going to, you know what I mean? We either take hook, line, and sinker everything they say, or the other half of the country is everything the government says is for a purpose and a plan, and they're out to screw us. They're out to take every liberty we have. They're out to fuck us left and right. And I don't see it as so black and white. I don't, and I'm not saying you do this, but every time I hear anybody talk about how, oh, the government said this, so there must be an ulterior motive, or a government scientist said this, so there must be an agenda, or they want us to get flu shots, so the government has a plan, or they want us to do this, so the government has a plan. I don't think everything is so steeped and rooted in this nefarious background plan by the government to control or regulate everything. Do they have some crappy things that they do? Definitely. Have they lied to us and misled us and tricked us and basically been douchebags? Yeah. But I don't think everything... I think if Barack Obama comes out tomorrow and says, hey, we found a new shot that's going to completely cure childhood diabetes, I think everybody on the right, not everybody on the right, I think a good amount of people in this country wouldn't do it on the premise of, oh, the government wants a shot. There's a reason for this. Do you understand what I'm getting at? I don't think there's some nefarious plan by the government to control everything we do and that every message has got some secret Uber BS plan behind it. That's all I'm getting at.
Well, I'm not saying this to be an ass to you, but, good for you. I mean, I get where you're coming from, but, first of all, I've never heard people short of Alex Jones try to suggest that everything the government does is bad for you. Okay, that's not what I said. That's not. I specifically said not you. I was talking about just the right in general. I know, but it's not just the right. Okay, it's not. So it's you had better. Let me put it to you this way. Maybe this will make you feel better. You had better have a general distrust of the government. Because the government, as an individual, does not have your best interest at heart, Kevin. They never have, and they never will. That's not the job of the government. Okay?
Okay.
It's not. That's not the function of government to care about you or to care about me. It's to care about society, the nation as a whole. It's to worry about economics. It's to worry about safety and protection, all that other stuff. Your well-being, my son's, they could care less about it. Okay? That's just that's life. That's the way it is. No government cares about the individual single person. They care about the whole. And that's why, the government will go out and the government will do things that they think are in their best interest without a recognition of the long-term consequences or the possible long-term consequences. And you cannot be so blind as to bury your head in the sand and think that just because the government tells you something is okay for you, that means that it is. That's the entire point here.
Okay.
The point is, people should do their research, figure it out, and make a decision for themselves. Don't take the government at face value. And there we have it.
Okay, fair enough. I just again, I don't think that there's a conspiracy around every corner, and every time the government does anything, there's a group that steps forward and says there's a conspiracy behind everything. Sure. And I want you to think about that, though.
It takes all types of people to make our country work, and that's why freedom works in this country. We may think that they're nutbags because they stand on the corner and think, oh my God, the government just built a food warehouse to feed the poor and to feed the homeless. They must be sticking some sort of chemical in there to really kill them off. Yeah, complete bunk. But the truth is it takes all types. Why? Because even those people, as crazy as they may be on the on the outside, it still makes the rest of us think. And we may not want to admit that it makes us think, but it does. Even the kooks make us think. And if we think for just half a second and we question everything in the back of our minds, I think our country will be a much better place for it.
Fair enough. All right. So let me ask you one other question about this. Let's go back to the Fukushima thing.
Okay, go ahead.
How would you prefer that the government, regardless of the president, we'll leave the Obama part of this out of it, but
yeah, this doesn't have anything to do with Obama, and I don't.
Well, no, hold on. I disagree, though. I would say that whatever is being shaped as the message is probably coming out of the White House.
Yeah, it's Valerie Jarrett.
Okay, let's talk about Valerie Jarrett.
I was trying to give you a segue, brother.
Let's talk about Valerie Jarrett. Who the fuck is Valerie Jarrett? Listen, on my Facebook page, and I love Marcus Hoffman. He used to do a show on KITZ back in the day.
He drives you freaking insane.
No, but I love the guy because he's passionate about what he believes in. I don't have to agree with the guy to respect the fact. Well, listen, I don't have to agree with him to love the fact that he's passionate about what he believes in, and he stands. Listen, I've said this before. I get a lot of heat for this. Nobody understands where I'm coming from, and I'm not comparing Marcus Hoffman to David Koresh, but I have a lot of respect for David Koresh and his followers because a lot of people in this country say, I believe this, that, and this, but the minute the minute it gets warm, they throw in the towel and move along to the next thing that they're passionate about. And there's no conviction, they just throw in the towel. And the people at Waco, they died, some of them, not all of them, some of them were shot by their own people, but some of them died based on what they believed. And they weren't going to go out there and surrender. They died. Now, I don't forgive them for the rest of it. I'm not making excuses for them. I don't idolize them, any of that. But I have respect for people who are willing to go to the wall for what they believe in. So to go back to Marcus, I don't agree with everything Marcus politically stands for, but I have a lot of respect for people that will stand up and say, even if it disagrees completely with mine, hey, this is how I feel. You're not going to change my mind. I'm going to go to bat for what I believe in, and he's really upfront about it. I have a lot of respect for that because too many people are wishy-washy either way. But I had made a comment on my page about something, and it was about the Lois Lerner post. And I basically said on my post, I don't know why anybody's freaking out that Lois Lerner pled the Fifth. It wasn't like she was going to say anything new and revealing anyway, because if she had given a statement, it was going to be the same old crap. She wasn't going to throw anybody under the bus in front of a congressional hearing. She was going to have a prepared statement. She wasn't going to say anything new. So I don't know why anybody was disappointed she pled the Fifth. We weren't going to get new information anyway. And somebody made a comment about who she worked for, and I asked, well, who are you referring that she worked for? And I just meant, are you referring to Obama? Are you referring to who the Treasury Secretary was at the time? Whatever. And Marcus said that Lerner and Obama both worked for Valerie Jarrett. Now, who's Valerie Jarrett?
She's President's senior advisor.
Okay.
Been his friend since his initial state Senate run in Chicago.
Where does the idea that he works for her come from? Can you help me with that?
Because everybody that's left the White House has made it abundantly clear that she runs everything that's going on in there. In other words, she access to the president runs through her. He only sees and hears what she wants him to see and hear, she's his handler, so to speak. Does that make sense?
Wasn't Nancy very much like that for Ron Reagan, though? Or am I looking at it at a different level?
No, I think that's a very valid point. With one overwhelming difference, Nancy was married to Ronald.
No. I'm not disputing that end of it. But what I'm asking is, don't presidents have somebody who handles that end of it? That the president can't be expected to manage their list and to manage who has access and to manage their schedules and all that.
It's not about managing, though. She sets policy. And she's an unelected individual. She's appointed by the president. And that's why a lot of people have problems with her, is because she's setting and making policy. And a lot of people feel, and I will freely admit that I do not know enough to say this is right or wrong, but a lot of people, and we're talking people on the president's side that have come out and they've quit because of her. Because they say that in the White House, she's a bully. She controls everything. She controls who can talk to the president. If she doesn't like the message, she won't let you in to even speak to him. And it's led to a lot of problems because apparently the president's been kept in the dark about things that he supposedly needed to hear. But the reason he never got to hear them was because Valerie Jarrett either had a personal axe to grind, or she's apparently just a very, very ruthless individual who is a control freak and micromanages everything that goes on around the president. That's a problem.
Why did Van Jones leave the administration? Was it because of Valerie Jarrett?
Who?
Van Jones.
Van Jones? Yeah, she was the one who selected him, and then she's the one who forced him out after it came out that he was a member of a communist party.
Okay. All right. I don't know.
Hunter!
And he leaves in the middle of the conversation. What are you doing? So, Strip, what do you think about Valerie Jarrett?
I don't even know who that is, so.
He went to Jarrett's. All right, whatever. So, all right.
Valerie Jarrett?
Yeah, Valerie Jarrett.
Who the hell is she?
Never mind. Don't worry about it. All right. So, anyway, that's the, well, that makes sense. I don't give it any credence. I just don't. The exact same arguments were being made when Bush was president, and that the argument was being made that he was actually working for Dick Cheney because there was no way that Cheney could get elected, so Bush ran and he worked for Cheney.
Wasn't there stuff? I just saw something about Clinton that Miss Hillary Clinton had a lot to do with her husband's term in office.
I don't know, and I can't help but think we wouldn't hear more about it.
No, I mean, look at it though. Look at it this way though. You get corporations that can effectively get somebody elected. President goes out and asks for huge donations, and he takes those donations on behalf, of doing specific things that he says he'll do. That will help that corporation out one way or another.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I just don't give any credence to any of it. I'm not trying to step on any toes. But listen, if you're Hillary Clinton,
come on, how do a lot of laws get passed?
But
corporations step up and put up the money to push them through. They pay to have it done. I mean, it's people getting greedy and
but I don't know.
Congress and Senate sitting there going, "Oh, I can make more money."
I don't know. All right. I don't know. Whatever. Yeah. I just the idea that somebody who's not elected would be behind the scenes puppeteering the whole thing, and that Obama is essentially the Milli Vanilli of the White House. I mean, that's kind of what this is, right?
What is our president?
Obama's Milli Vanilli.
I hate to say this, but what is our besides his what are those the things that he can do? The mandates he can make. What are those called, Paul?
Say that again.
The mandates that the president can make.
Executive orders?
Yeah. Besides executive orders, I mean, really, I don't think our president really does a whole lot. Not to say, I mean, I know he goes out and talks to people, and he's more of a figurehead for the country than anything.
Listen, I'm going to read you this little bit, and this is out of
you better make it quick. You got 2 minutes.
Yeah.
I'm just letting you know.
Stop talking. And
now you got a minute and a half.
Chicago Politics and City Life, okay? A very pro-Obama magazine article. The truth about Valerie Jarrett, mystery woman of the White House. What exactly does Valerie Jarrett, the Chicagoan often described as a big sister or mother figure to the Obamas, do in the White House? The instant histories of the Obama White House tend to portray her as Obama's pit bull, a woman loyal only to the president and her own image. In a recent book on the 2012 campaign, Jonathan Alter writes that Rahm Emanuel, on agreeing to become Obama's chief of staff, recognized that Jarrett would wield such outsized power that he tried unsuccessfully to finesse her into Obama's Senate seat. Alter also speculates that Valerie Jarrett was one reason why Rahm Emanuel hightailed it out of D.C. in 2010. Others in media and Washington circles portray Jarrett, who held top positions in Chicago government and business, as a brilliant strategist and thinker who practically runs both wings of the White House, and who did as much or more than anyone to put the Obamas there. In 91, Jarrett, then Mayor Rich Daley's deputy chief of staff, offered Michelle Robinson a job in City Hall. Before Michelle accepted, she insisted that Jarrett meet with Michelle's fiancé, Barack Obama. Jarrett promptly took both under her wing and over the years introduced Barack to the inner Daley circle, to wealthy business people, and to the people who mattered in her enclave, Hyde Park, all of which helped Obama as he moved up from community organizer to Springfield to Washington. So which is it? Here are 6 pieces, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so Valerie Jarrett's power in Obama's White House stems from her position as senior advisor to the president. The magazine says yes. She holds a conventional power position in the administration, carrying a portfolio that covers such issues as how the administration can boost business in a down economy, implement programs to improve the lives of women and girls, develop better communication with state and local governments and other constituencies. The reality is that her power stems from her friendship with the first couple, forged by after-hour access, total trust that her only motive is to protect the first couple's image and advance their interests. She's not only powerful because she creates and implements policy, but because she's the last person the president and or first lady talk to every day.
Okay.
And there's a lot more, but that gives you a basic idea. And this is from Chicago, politics and style and city life.
But do you think that somebody like Hillary, okay, I'm using Hillary for the example because she's one of the few people that I think that Obama pulled into his cabinet, into his administration that had clout behind them. Right? Like, I don't feel like Van Jones had any clout behind him when he came in.
No, he did. Yeah, he did.
Yeah, but Hillary did. I can't fathom that Hillary would have put up with that bullshit. You know what I mean?
There's a lot of rumor and innuendo that she didn't, and Valerie Jarrett was part of the reason she left as Secretary of State.
Yeah. All right. We'll have to pick this up at a later date.
Right. To say that, pretty much every person who's left the White House, the Obama administration, there's been rumors about it being because of Valerie Jarrett, right or wrong. So,
all right, we got last call coming up next. We got a whole bunch of stuff to talk about. We'll talk about some TV shows. We can talk about some risque topics. I got a risque topic to bring up. We're going to talk about some faith stuff, maybe if we have time for it. We got a whole bunch of stuff to talk about. In fact, if we're lucky, maybe we'll read True in a Bedtime Story again.
Fuck off, Kevin.
That's always my hope.
He gets so annoyed with saying the F word, but then he just says "fuck off."
I know, he swears all the time. He swears all the time. I never swear on this show unless I read a bedtime story. So, St. Paul, the voice of reason, back at the compound. Desi's in studio with me. Strips running the boards. I am K-Dog the Loose Cannon. No sign of Trojo. Maybe soon. Stay tuned. We're back after this on the Outlaw.
Dark outside. Use a flashlight.
Outlaw Radio Network. He just used a smile.
Get outlawed.